All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Finally get ourselves in towards the game here. Thank you so much for the wait. OESL Collegiate Esport Invitational here on the Horizon. My name is VisionZz. Joined with me right now on the cast is going to be Rav, Exel, as we get ready to finally jump in here. In our first match, Rav, is going to be Ontario Tech here on the blue side going up against UTM Esports here on the red.
This is actually the most hyped match for me in this entire event because we have University of Toronto Mississauga up against Ontario Tech here, and these are both very evenly matched teams that are competing to finish extremely well on this tournament. But wow, I can't believe what I'm already seeing. Oren with Spellbook with Smite. Am I seeing correctly?
I think you are. And,
wow, okay, I'm not hallucinating.
That's right, and this is a little bit interesting, right? You know, getting an Orange Jungle coming in towards the draft. Of course, they did do a pro draft going in towards the champion select, so we didn't actually get to see the pick order of everything that came down. But either way, we can see a very traditional draft coming through right now for Ontario Tech. They got themselves the Hecarim. They have themselves the Yasuo on the top side. You know what that means, Rav? They're probably going to be looking to playing around this Yasuo, doing their best to set up that E for that automatic knockup that's going to come through there with that ultimate, the last breath.
And as we're getting started, we definitely see some atypical lanes. Yasuo here in the top lane, traditionally seen in the mid lane, but occasionally taken here in the top, playing unusually also not the Conqueror. So a little bit of a different summoner here for Ats on the top lane. And here we are in the bottom. We're on.
Great entrance. This actually might be a kill. Remember, there's no flash available. There's the flashing forward. First Blood's going to go through there for 1-9-1-1. And already the Lovers duo is popping off.
Does not compute. We've got some numbers getting First Blood. Lovers duo. No, they've been constantly ahead here in the last couple of years. They've been above 50% win rate as a duo since their release, and they are proving it. The Rakan entrance to the follow-up damage from the Xayah First Blood going over to University of Toronto Mississauga.
You love to see this already, and you can see, in a Caitlyn Morgana lane, you're automatically expecting that they're going to have the push, that they're actually going to be able to contest you level 2 here with the range purely from the Caitlyn. But this time around, you can just see the Lovers duo is able to do a fantastic job of realizing when they're able to pull the trigger here. They grab the level 2 first, and now they set the bot lane up here for a beautiful success.
Check what we got here.
You like to see
a
it.
Level 2 gank from bottom lane.
Oh, it could be a flash forward. There's actually a very quick reaction, but is he going to get himself out? Feathers coming through. The cage is perfect. He survives the 3-man gank and gets a couple flashes out as he goes away and goes for the reset here.
Wow, that's like you said, excellent cage from Alam to prevent the extra damage coming forth from Xayah. That very well could have been a cage with the flash already expended here from Vigar. And you just never see these types of plays. You have UTM already going completely out of the meta by picking Orange Jungle with Spellbook and then doing a level 2 gank from their bot lane, going directly into the mid lane. Wow, what else are we going to see? There's already so much in 4 minutes of play.
That's right, and you can see a small snowball being built up here in this 4 minutes of play, as we actually did see the Hecarim taken down there. I don't think we got to watch it, but a kill did go over towards the Jace here, who now has a massive advantage over top of that Yasuo in that ranged matchup here. So we'll have to keep our eyes on how he's going to constantly abuse that. Have not seen a whole lot from the Orin. His lanes have naturally been winning, which means that you want to see a lot from the jungler right now on the side of Ontario Tech to be forcing these plays and making sure his team does not fall too far behind here in the early game.
Honestly, as an Orange, that's the ideal situation that you're looking for. You don't want your lanes to be necessarily going behind where you're forced to do early ganks. He's going to be able to try to get to level 6 as quickly as possible, already at level 4, going farm for farm with the Hecarim, which, hey, if you're a tank jungler and you're doing that against a more carry-oriented one, you're in a good situation.
That's right. And let's talk about the composition, because we didn't get to really do it during the draft here, but it's very obvious that the team fight that can come through right now for the side of UTM Esports is going to be fantastic. They have great engage with the Ornn, with the Rakan here using the quickness, but they also have an amazing 1-3-1. They have the Rise, they have themselves the Jace here, able to play through the side lanes perfectly. So there is already multiple win conditions where you look at the side of Ontario Tech, and it looks like they just want a team fight. That's what their composition certainly screams, and we'll have to see if they're going to be able to get themselves in position where they're able to team fight versus squad.
Looking at the Rise, already getting that early tier, farming extremely well, faking that he's warding, just keeping the enemy at bay, thinking that the bottom side is warded there. Just that small little movement, even though it didn't do anything, this is high-level play where you're starting to play mind games with your opponent. The Vygar is going to call to his jungler that there is a ward placed on that bot side when in fact there isn't. But here we're having the first dragon of the game going uncontested for UTM.
Hey man, let's talk about the Dragons here. We know how important the changes were in the preseason. Again, nothing has really been solidified for as far as an actual meta right now in the preseason for League of Legends going in towards Season 10 here. A lot of it is just what you've been seeing on stream from the top level players or what you've been practicing, what is kind of been working for you. So certainly a talking point, but they grabbed themselves the early Ocean here picked up, and Neela's got to feel really good for getting all of this regen for the health bars, for their mana, as we're going to see Rise reset, get himself back on towards the map here as things seem to calm down over the last couple minutes.
And I got to mention to our audience, this is one of the hot fixes here in the preseason patch is the Ocean Drake. They went ahead and switched it to where it's only health where you're being regen. They started it off the preseason patch at 5% of your health every so often, but they switched that down to every 3 seconds. So a significant downgrade from how this patch started. It was just a little bit overtuned with Mountain and Ocean tend to be the dragons that people were mostly fighting for. Now it's anybody's game. Everyone agrees Mountains is really strong, but where the Ocean fits into that, well, it's still the preseason. It's still everyone's guess.
That's right. Still very open to lots of creativity. As we're watching the Hecarim at the moment here, maybe looking to go for something as a level 6 should be coming through with an Onslaught Shadows. That is definitely an online point here. But while all that's happening, the enemy jungler, Ornn, you talked about it already, Rav, about how he wants to get that level 6, wants to use that amazing engage tool, probably looking to do it potentially on the bot side since they already have some great matchups going for them here at the moment, have a slight advantage. We can see that Caitlyn's come back to lane and actually CS extremely well despite her dying very early on, but still showing a lot of respect versus the Lover's Duel engage.
And you said it, and with that Ornn already going to be hitting 6 very shortly, going Spellbook. In these days, the only champion I see taking Spellbook consistently is Orianna mid, made famous, of course, by Dopa, but we already have a gank possibly coming in. It is a control ward. Vision, what do you think is going to happen here?
Looks like they might try and go for an engage, already using the E, but actually fighting back here in this 2v3, maybe just baiting out and bluffing that the jungler is actually nearby. He is showing in the mid lane, so it does not look like he wanted to pull that trigger there, and that's just going to cause him to walk all the way around, and now they're also going to be able to spot out the Hecarim.
Yeah, and the Hecarim showing bottom here is going to give some leeway on the other side of the map. Here you're seeing an Ornn counter-jungling invade. Yes, that's right, you're seeing it. Spellbook, Ornn, jungle, the second blue buff, counter-jungle. Yeah, we're seeing it all. But as we go by, there's just a 2v2 kill on bot side. Chains of Corruption almost hitting there, but Rakan's just going to go safely under tower.
Yeah, we did not get to see that kill, but this is the power of the Caitlyn Morgana. It takes one binding, takes one Caitlyn trap. You set up the CC perfectly, and you get yourself a free kill. I'm assuming that's what probably happened there. It does not look like too many summers were even blown. Just the Ignite here from the Morgana, and just the Flash here from the Rakan. So either way, doing what they can. Now fighting for some Scuttle Crab priority. This is going to be the cage thrown out. Don't think there's going to be anything coming from it. Actually, they want to pull the trigger. Flashing over. You get stunned in the cage. Rakan following up with a quickness. Ignite ticking down. 1-8-1-1-0-7 will grab himself a kill as they go up 4-1.
And Rakan, once again, going mid lane, second time in 9 minutes. This time, getting the knock-up, landing the Ignite, and that's more than enough damage because of the CC followed up from his team. Yes, Rise did use his flash into the cage, but still very, very worth it. Now 4-1, 1,500 gold lead at this early juncture. UTM up ahead.
Closing on that 10-minute mark. Ripfield has been up for a bit here, but the other team has actually decided to go for it. Now seeing some aggressive plays. Conqueror all stacked up. Tees might actually be in some trouble here. Does land a very crucial tornado. This might actually get him away with his life. There is no flash available on Jace, actually using the shock blast there just a little bit too early. Does hit the wind wall, so not able to convert on a kill either way. Still showing his dominance, getting lane priority here up against this Yasuo in the top matchup.
Looks very close to finishing that first lethality item. Like you said, a little bit ahead on the farm, but Yasuo in this ranged matchup here, he's not hurting too badly. Yes, Jace does have a kill already, but Yasuo is only 8 CS down here at 10 minutes. You have to like how he's going to approach the mid game, not even dying yet, and still not losing too many waves to turret.
Absolutely, closing in on a 2K gold lead right now for the side of UTM eSports. Again, their opponent's up in towards this one. Ontario Tech, as he just goes for a dive. And he just walks way too far up. He's just going to absolutely punish him here. And Red Eclipse is just starting to build up a very nice gold lead.
Just after I'm saying things aren't going that badly, it's a caster's curse. Things start to go badly. And Red Eclipse starting to take over this top lane 2-0 already. And he's going to start getting not only the kills, but turret plates at that. Second turret plate going over. There, another hot fix, 120 gold instead of the former 160. Frankly, I was used to the 160. It's going to take a little while to get used to that 120.
Yeah, and we're actually going to see it plays all around the map at the moment. 1v1 on the top side right now. Red Eclipse in a bit of trouble. He might be able to get himself out. Conqueror will be stacked up. He will now get thrown away. He will not find the kill, but in the bot side, it looks like there was a little bit of fighting going on. Still fighting going on. The quickness is going to be used for Rakan, trying to get herself out. He will, but they're going to get the flash off Caitlyn. Both summoners used, flashing forward. That's going to be a 1-9-1-1, finding a very nice Feather Storm, taking down the Caitlyn and taking down the bot lane.
This is starting to get bad to worse from Ontario Tech. With the kills going against them, really, in every lane they're losing, and even in the jungle matchup they're losing. This is a second dragon going their way by the 12-minute mark. There's not much to say positive here for Ontario Tech. Other than that, they have some real nice hyperscalers in their mid and AD carry positions, and that hopefully that they can get to a point in the game where they can start building some items and really being able to put out some damage. But that's still another 15 minutes away, and we're not even sure if we're going to get there.
That's right. And like you said, 2 dragons now in favor of UTM eSports, feeling pretty good at this point in time here. It looks like it will be now the Infernal Soul, who will be spawning on towards Summoner's Rift here in probably about another 5 minutes. At the moment, there is a massive goalie. The one thing I always talk about, Rav, is for as far as making sure the other team here, Ontario Tech, is still remaining proactive. Because if you just simply let UTM control the map, dictate the pace of the game, well, their tempo is already extremely high. And if you're not doing anything to match any of these plays, you're just going to fall so far behind that there's going to be nothing you're actually able to become back in towards the game.
And for turrets, there's only a few plates on each side. You have UTM with 2 plates on each of the lanes, whereas Ontario Tech does have some of these early bottom plates and a plate up top lane, so they're not too far behind in that. It's just the kills and the dragons. So for these initial towers going down, they're still in the game and they still can be coming back, and we could still see a first turret from either team, and that should be a focal point on what's going to happen next.
Very, very true. Watching this Hecarim, yet to actually find any kill participation here. Almost a little bit scared to actually force some plays, but if you remain too scared again, they're just going to start to farm up. The Xayah is certainly going to be able to out-team fight the Caitlyn here in a lot of these situations. There's so many threats, but look at the top side. Veigar in some trouble, flashing forward here, looking to see if they can find this man. They do! Windwall is not going to be there in time, and Red Eclipse, well, he's going to add another one here as he collects 3 kills at 13 minutes.
And what's that going to transition to? It appears the Rift Herald. So you were talking about first tower being potentially very swingy, and with this Rift Herald, with 3 plates on each of these outer turrets here for Ontario Tech, this very well could transition to a first tower, and that'll mean that UTM is just taking everything. It's like they're taking the cookie jar, they're going, and they're taking even the pie off of Mama's windowsill.
Yeah, but look at this. They are finally to get something back for themselves, but what will it cost them? Binding, very nice flash coming through Rapida, but he's still able to delete the Hecarim, and now this man is left all alone. Nowhere to go. He's going to pop the black shield, but it's not going to matter. Might actually find a trade kill with a pool, but no, he will not. The level up comes through, and another one will fall down in the bot side. I believe overall a 1 for 3.
Literally all he could do at that point. You'd like to feel a little bit of sorrow, but it was a good roam by Rise. So a good play gets the payoff, and not only the kills, but this first turret as well. Oh, first turret did go in top lane. Rift Herald is going to get the rare second charge with the new Rift Herald changes. Going to get that top tier 2 down to half. Bottom side, very, very close. They are going to pick that up. Rise, I believe, got solo gold on that. It was very, very close. Did not see the Rakan there. And he's going to go back and start working towards that second item. Really aces all the way for UTM. And they're going to be looking to spend their bags of gold. And, wow, I'm feeling a little bit sorry for Ontario Tech. I don't know what they could do here to get back.
Yes, certainly very difficult. The US's scaling we have to talk about. We talked about some of the scaling available for the Rise and the side, but if they can get this Yasuo, maybe gets that crazy power spike once he gets 10 deaths, like we typically see in our solo queue games. But if he does get 3 or 4 items, he will be a menace. Same thing with Veigar. Will infinitely scale throughout this game here, and this is going to be some of the things you have to rely on. But it doesn't seem like UTM is just going to give him that kind of an opportunity there. Already blowing the team out of the water. Another kill might go down. He does not get hit with the Grand Entrance. However, this will be another one falling. Morgana is going to be taken down. Ornn is going to land it. Double kill going to come through for Peta. Looking for a triple kill maybe. Red Eclipse says, I want a piece of the pie. Will grab a kill for himself. And they yet again come out on top with 3 kills.
Wow, 2-15. I'd like to say the game's busted wide open, but frankly, this is the way it's been going. And they're just keeping a constant push forward here at UTM, showing that they know what to do with the lead. And that's get them down, step on their throats, and finish off this game. And at 8,000 gold here at 16 minutes, that's really about as far ahead as you possibly get in this modern League of Legends game.
Hard to agree with you here, as they're looking to grab themselves this mid tower. Remember, when you get the mid tower, it just opens up the red and blue quadrant so very much. A little bit of damage coming down. They're going to get it, and now Veigar may have overstepped. That's going to be a tease looking to back him up. There's going to be one more auto. He needs to get himself out, and he does. Now the last breath's going to come through. They're looking for a sign. This will be a third death. That's going to be a tease now on the board. Gets his first kill. They might have found Ornn as he's taking up everything, but the onslaught of shadows on top of Ryan. They need to find this kill. Can they find the members? Shutdown coming through. Yasuo as he grabs himself another one in this fight. Peta putting us so much damage. Now the flag from Red Eclipse. He's looking to see if he can find one, but the kiting from Caitlyn way too much at this point in time. The rest of the fight looks like it now has separated and disengaged. And overall, that's actually not too bad of a fight for Ontario Tech.
1 for 2. I tell you what, yeah, absolutely. They're back in this game. They show that, hey, we can pick up a few kills. We can win a team fight. Yeah, you know what, we're going to lose this dragon, but they got a little bit of hope now with kill going over to Yasuo. They're still a little bit behind, but they got waves now pushing in away in the mid lane, and they're going to look to try to reset and try to finish off some of these first items. Hecarim very close to finishing his Trinity Force. It's oh so key before he can be able to make an impact in this game, and at 1 and 4, he really needs this item to get going.
Needs this item to get going here at this point in time. Resets coming through on the map, still massive goal lead as we close in on 18 minutes. Baron's going to be spawning here in just about 2, and of course, it was the Infernal Soul. Very open map that we have at the moment. Still fighting for their lives at the moment here is Ontario Tech, not giving up, relying on this late game scaling to try and get them towards that 30-minute mark, 40-minute mark. They're going to need that. There's going to be any chance in closing this one out. And I imagine once this Baron spawns, they're going to set up for it, do with the fundamentals, drop the vision, use your teamwork, use your long range engage for your jungler. It just makes it so hard for you to then step up and regain that vision control.
And a little bit of backstory in some of our first few games. We have, this is the 4th game so far played in the collegiate tournament here, brought to you by Ontario eSports League, doing eSports all over Ontario, in Toronto, over here in Hamilton, all over. And University of Mississauga, the U of T Mississauga, they were able to beat the Saints Gaming there earlier. And so they're already have a win. So this is looking to have their 2nd win. And when you have a 4-team event here, this is an invitational tournament. Other teams tried to get into this tournament, but we only we let the most established and most recognizable teams into this event, and looking forward, looking to possibly have a larger tournament in the future with more teams participating. So very, very exciting here. Already these top schools, other schools that are participating here, but we have the Western League of Legends team as well as Saints Gaming. So some very recognizable names participating in this event, and it's just a pleasure casting with you today, VisionZz, here at our first event. Apologize once again for starting a little bit late.
It's going to be a great day, great time for a lot of these teams to shine on stream, show everybody what they're capable of doing for the upcoming season, like we just mentioned here. So certainly it'll get a great start if you can get yourselves a tournament win. Back in towards the game. There's the pings coming down. You can see it. They're looking to set themselves up here for this Baron. And with such great engage from the Rakan with the quickness in towards the Grand Entrance. From the Ornn here calling down the Ornn horn. So difficult to walk up. You have to almost always be as a unit to make sure you can defend against the engage. Either way, they're going to step in now. Black Shield going to be laid on towards the Hecarim as they're going to drop the cage. And they're just going to drop in, grab the pink ward, and walk themselves up. They just want to make sure they're not doing the Baron. But There comes the Born. They're going to be able to go through. He is on the flank, looking for Vanguard. He might just get deleted. He will go down. 1911 has already grabbed a double here. This is the Morgana falling, the Vanguard falling, and now they're just going to turn their attention to the Baron Nashor.
Kills, Dragons. Why not a Baron? You know, that's kind of like the feather on the cap that a Desire player would really like to see with throwing up that double kill. You got to really hand it to 191130. Just playing excellent this game at 5-3-1, and the support 181107 on the Rakan, deathless so far, which on an engaged champion like Rakan is very difficult to do. You have to be very well timed with your engages, and this Lovers duo in the bot lane really coming up aces here in this 16-19 game, 6-19, excuse me.
Yeah, this game got so much easier. The Baron in place, having so many elemental drakes to work with here as well. And this is just looking like it might just be on a timer right now. You know, there's just so many ways they can play this game. I talked about it at the very start. They can look for the 1v1. They want to send Riot to the side lane, well, who's going to match him? They want to send Jace to the side lane, well, who's going to match him? Their only chance is really finding some kind of a pick, either sending multiple members to the side lane or just looking for that perfect engage with a hacker. Either way, it does not look great, and you can see the pressure now on the side lanes that is already starting to rain down. Oh, that's the engage. Warren did find it, but they're not going to be able to follow it up.
And they're looking to pressure three ways here. You mentioned they have multiple ways to go ahead and pressure with this Baron, and they decided to open with a 1-3-1 to get all waves pushing, and then they're going to transition what looks like to a 1-4-1 with Jace pushing top and 4 members going to the bot lane. This is very, very ideal. They're going to let this cannon that's Baroned up go ahead and start taking the tower, and really there's not a lot that Ontario Tech that can do. They could choose to go in here, but that's a fight that they have a very high chance of losing, and it falls right into UTM's playbook.
It does. They go for the engage, try and get a Galen, will not be successful. Now trying to drop some of their damage. There's going to be a lot of slows coming through with XX GLP, but looks like the first inhibitor is going to fall nonetheless here. The base has been broken open. The inhibitor has been taken down. It looks like they're going to now back up and look for this Infernal, but they may actually try to contest it with a flank here. This could be massive. Akram does have his ultimate. Actually, no, he doesn't. The Onslaught Shadows is not available, so I don't know how they're going to win this either way. They're going to be on top of the Dragon now, so it looks like they should be able to pick this up for free. No contest. He goes in way too late. They're going to start the fight off. Winner's going to get deleted instantly. 2 members down right now for the side of Ontario Tech as they move forward. Here comes the Horn looking to see if they can knock one off. Will not be able to get on top of the Caitlyn, but still not out of the water just yet. Being chased down by 1911. Is going to get out of the cage. The cage will stop them from chasing. Will stay in the indicator, but will it? 1811 flashes with the ignite. Takes out another one, and they might just look to end.
Yeah, and with the Dragonstone presenting that extra damage here, doing that burst 90 damage plus corresponding ability power and AD, the 4 dragons as well as the Baron. It's really everything you want to win a team fight, but they're not calling it quits yet. Ontario Tech trying to get some damage in, but it's just ever so difficult with all these items and all these levels over for UTM.
Oh. Peta finds them with the flux there, able to grab them just with the E. Redemption coming down, looking everybody very healthy. A few of them stuck in the cage, but they just need to grab the Nexus Tower and end the game. The Onslaught of Shadows comes down, but quickly will be deleted. Peta's going to go legendary, grabs the double, looks for them on the fountain. They're just toying with their food at this point in time. The ace is going to be dropped at 24 minutes and 18 seconds. The Quadra's picked up for Peta. He's 11-0-6. They're so massive, they're so strong. The Nexus will fall here very shortly, and they come out on top. UTM eSports looking to finish out this pool here very, very hot.
University of Toronto, Mississauga. I said this was the most anticipated game for me of the day, and well, they showed that no, this is not a close competition. They are superior over Ontario Tech on this day here at the Collegiate Tournament brought to you by OESL, Ontario Esports League.
What a game that we have there. As we're getting ready to throw it away. I think we're taking a 30-minute break, if I'm not mistaken, here to let the teams get some lunch, use the bathroom so that we can set up our next game. So for now, guys, like Rav just said, we're going to throw it away here to a short little break. We will be right back here with our next game here in the lineup, so make sure you guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
I don't know if the stream will go down. Oh, the stream will. Maybe. Actually, maybe not, because it's this.
Yeah, the stream just went down. Fuck.
Really?
Okay. It's too late now.
You know, we kind of have to do it.
Okay, so.
Not sure if it did.
Yeah, it did.
You guys can
talk.
You guys can wait a few minutes.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ourselves in towards our second game here on the day for the stream itself here for the OESL Collegiate Esport Invitational. This one, we got Ontario Tech coming back here, coming off of a bit of a tough loss, but now going up against Saints Gaming. And well, it looks like Saints Gaming already looking for a level 1 invade here, Rav.
Yeah, and we're looking at some of the picks, but we don't even have a chance to talk about that because of this 5-man invade, and I love this invade. It's one of my favorite invades. You're completely blind when you're standing in that tri-bush down there as the blue team on the blue side, and if you catch anyone with a thresh, then you know that's it. That's lights out. So you have a real chance at a first blood there, and just really low risk. Top lane can go right back, and yeah, it's only an advantage. That's it.
That's right. And I feel like, we didn't get to obviously cast the draft, but there's some very interesting things going on. I think the biggest one is we saw the Amumu. Now, I have been seeing a lot of Conqueror Amumu, but this time it looks like I believe it is Aftershock. And that's a little bit interesting. This is an untraditional pick that we haven't seen. Now, it is also preseason, so maybe they know something we do not. Either way, that was the one big talking point. The other one is how they're going to be able to use the split push Camille with the Hextech Ultimatum into the Heroics entrance from the Galio to set up for an automatic knock-up, unless we're going to see a Zanyas or something along those lines.
Yeah, and for me, I'm really looking at the interaction between Camille, Kha'Zix, and Galio, where you have the Galio being able to affect the side lanes, with Camille also having teleport advantage over the Darius.
Right.
So Galio can just go right on top of Kha'Zix or onto Camille and really make a 2-on-2. Whoa.
Yeah, already very early on, trading that grand entrance there for the death sentence. However, it does not look like the Rakan get the best of that trade off of the back end of that Apex snipe there with a very nice hook on the engage here. And already some scrapping. And well, we also got a Draven here on Blinn, and that's also a champion that can take over games, especially if given the lead when he gets some of those stacks cashed out for him.
And that trade between Rakan and Thresh really was kind of like the People's Party and Maxime Bernier, with Rakan being Bernier. He just got absolutely crushed in that trade. But here we're having the level 2 already, just like Bernier, just taking shots left, right.
Absolutely. And going in towards this one, obviously, anyone that watched the last game, Ontario Tech coming off of a pretty tough loss there. Died very early on, actually, in the bot lane. That was kind of where they were struggling on the map, the top side as well. Now both of these members on different champions to see if they can redeem themselves and, realistically fight for that third place match that they're really trying to go for at the moment here. As early on, we're going to see now the Rise looking to trade here on the Galio. Needs to get that tier before he's really going to start being at least effective in lane for now. He just needs to hold on to that mana bar, try and clear out those minions, and then use that TP when it is available and ready to come back to lane. Top lane, he's looking to have a little bit of a better game, but a nice hook shot is going to be used here from the Camille. Will be losing a bit of health here with the 5 stacks from the Darius blood.
And you see the Kha'Zix in top lane farming the golems up there. You have to think that Camille is going to call his jungler in. And as you can see, Kha'Zix is starting to move towards the top side, but flash for flash, Amumu getting in with the bandage toss and already hits the first bandage toss. That's a great sign for this Amumu jungle, and shame on anyone for doubting this pick.
Yeah, it's already off to a great start, like you said. Able to hold on to the flash, the patience, making him flash. And that's going to be the young Falcon, unfortunately falling here. Either way, top lane. Ghost was actually used there for Matisse, and he was looking to maybe go for a Camille, or go for a kill on the Camille rather, but is now actually maybe forcing her to actually back and reset here on the map. So overall, he's getting some pressure. He's got a very nice CS lead as well.
And I'll ingest with my co-caster Visions here. We were just having a conversation in Champ Select, watching it before coming out about why this Amumu was picked, and it very well could be a comfort pick. Something that he's played over the years. It very well could be an engage, is what Vision was saying. That reliable engage with the bandage toss, that flash, Curse of the Sad Mummy time, that type of thing. And I've already seen going into the mid lane and picking up that first kill. So just all in jest, is an atypical pick, as he was saying, and just love to see these types of picks work out in this new season, Season 10 coming up. We really don't know how this game is going to shape up. I'm, for one, extremely excited for NALCS and for this collegiate 2020 season.
That's right. Both these teams trying to get some of this pre-work done here before the season does actually start. We talked about it in the last game as well, Rav, but how important it could be to get yourself a tournament win. Going in towards the season, it's got to be a massive self-esteem and confidence booster going in towards it. Might see a death sentence actually be thrown out here, but nice sidestep coming out there. Make sure he is not going to be hit. And now things Off to a slower start than we got in our last game here. Both teams just showing a bit of respect here and not over-forcing. I think that is, a very good discipline to have, especially in what could be the decider for the third place game here. So just trying to do what they can to farm up, get some of these key item spikes, then look to pounce with their attack.
And like you said, both teams looking for the first win of the tournament, both at 0-2 right now. Both of them want to go home with some bragging rights, some sort of confidence going into the 2020 season. These teams have been signed up for the CLOL 2020 season, and it's just in preseason. The official season has not started yet. So I do know these teams did face each other a month ago, with Ontario Tech coming up the victor. So we're going to see if that's going to still remain the case. Remember, this was on the old game. A lot has changed in this game that could very well change how this future match is going to be played.
Very true. Darius looking to do some zoning here on the Camille. If he gets a hold of her, we know how much damage this man has. And Skid also has that 1v2 potential. We're watching the Kazakhs, who hasn't done too much on the map here, just looking to spot out through a Mumu, and they are going to be able to do that. And, getting that first item, the Warrior, once that's locked in for the Kazakhs, that's when he's going to be super effective. So keeping an eye on that, looking to grab the Scuttle Crab, also the Ocean Dragon, going to be the first dragon of this game as well, on the second one on stream. Likely could set up and try and execute that, as we know how important getting those are, especially in the preseason at the moment right now, Rav.
Absolutely, and swinging back to the bot lane like you were talking about, when you look at a Draven Thresh lane, that's not a lane that's looking to farm up for late game, but here we're having already a few stacks for Darius, but yeah, going back to that, they're looking for kills in lane, they're looking for turret plates, they're looking to get this Draven some of those stacks, those adoration stacks. They're not happy to go even here, so you have to really like how the Xayah Rakan is taking control of this lane and being able to go into the mid game. Even, you're really liking that as the Xayah Rakan.
Oh, absolutely you are. As it looks like the Dragon will finally be taken low. Will they be able to execute it? That's the question at the moment. Down to about 500 HP. Should be going over here. It will be secure. Death Sentence lands on towards the mid laner, but will not be followed by Apex Snipe. We'll just have to walk back. Not in position to grab that, and a very nice take coming through right here for Ontario Tech.
They had the chance to go on that. Yes, they were 3 members down there, and Galio did have his ultimate in the mid lane, but the dragon was already taken. There's no point going in for that fight, 4v4, that you may or may not win for no objective. Good restraint there from Saints Gaming.
Very true. Oh, very nice hook coming through, and now that's actually going to be the ultimate. Will land on a Mumu, who's caught out at the moment, should be falling down here. He will use the Curse of the Stab Mummy, buying time. Can he get himself out? No. Blid will grab the first kill of this fight. Still pressing forward like they want to take down the Galio. Are they going to be able to find the trade here? Thresh going to walk back in, gets his mid laner out, and they will be able to find themselves a kill, but they do end up taking out the Draven.
So let's break that down. That's 1 for 1, but Draven was able to pick up a kill there. So a little bit of cash going towards him. He's already got his first 2 items with that BF, so very close to that Bloodthirster. Next back, it's almost certainly he's going to get it. So a good little advantage there for the Draven. We were just saying it's very dependent for them to be very assertive in this lane, to be able to take over and get some kills onto this very reliant carry on early kills. And there you have it. The first kill for Saints Gaming on the most important person for them to be able to contest this game.
That's right. And talking about the support here, Apex Snipe, finding the Snipe there with the hook. Beautiful plays from him. Gonna have to watch as he probably looks to set up his Draven here for more success. Like you just said, Adoration stacks have come through. That's the flashing forward. That's the Draven we know and love. Able to grab one. The flame will land on towards Xayah. Where you run into, calls the feathers back, does not matter. And now this bot lane is online.
3 kills. Wow! We were just talking about how reliant it was on bot lane. Draven answers it right back with the first 3 kills going right over. Not only that, they're going to be able to get some turret plates on this. They're not going to stay too long. Draven does have a very low mana bar, but he's going to take that 2 kills, that 1 to 2 turret plates, and going to head back, finish that Bloodthirster, and watch for him to take over the game. Saints Gaming very reliant on their Draven, Blinn.
Beautiful plays right now, but now you have a win condition that you can play to. You can also look to set up dives. Thresh so good at using that dive tools with the flame, with the death sentence here. Also using the lantern to pull someone out if they're tanking. So they have a lot of different win conditions they can look to play through at the moment here. Rise looking to scale up here is 2-0, and this is a win condition that we can talk about here for the opposite side. Ontario Tech, the mid laner actually was holding his own as the Vanguard. Trying to scale up. He got a lot of attention there from 3-man ganks at level 2 from from the bot lane. Not things you typically see, but could be their win condition here as they're going to drop the Rift Herald actually in the top side looking for some plays.
And there's just so much action going on all around the map. It's really hard to keep track. There's just so much. But you're already going to see so many turret plates going down on top. I believe there's only 2 left there for the Darius, who was able to get solo gold on that. Still looking to build his first item. Working towards looks like that Black Cleaver. And he won't have it yet, but he will have a good buy to go back and be able to contest this Camille. Look at the CS differential here on top lane. That is stratospheric.
Yeah, that's a couple of kills worth of CS, actually. That is beautiful at the moment, and that's another win condition they can look to play through. A nice bait in the mid lane. Could look to drop that ultimate. The flash comes through. Now we're going to 2v2. Make that a 3v2. Thresh is always here at the right place, right time. Looking for the hook. Fishing, but does not connect. And it looks like everyone will now walk away, disengage, and go back towards farming.
And one of the big negatives for Amumu is hitting that bandage toss. It's actually fairly easy to dodge, and if you miss it, you have no way to get in unless you flash. And there, we've already seen Amumu hit 2 very key bandage tosses. Yes, it didn't work out there because there was a 2-man collapse onto mid lane, but he's hitting his skills, and he's looking extremely well on this first part of the game.
Oh, very interesting interaction there, but we got some fighting in the bot side. Realmorph actually came down, looking to see if they can find the support who's been playing so well this game. It looks like they might. Is he going to be able to dodge it? No, he does not. Alam's going to be able to grab that, make it another one here. 4-0 for this Rise here at 13 minutes. It actually looks like it might be 5 potentially. Flank coming through from Kazik in the backside. He's got a lot of low targets, but it's a triple kill. Going through for the mid laner. They do get themselves 1, but it's a 1 for 3.
Wow, and we started saying win condition in the bot lane. Ontario Tech is like, okay, I'll take your win condition, and I'm going to put him even farther behind. They went ahead and dove that Draven, put 4 members in the bot lane very quickly before Saints Gaming could respond in a meaningful fashion, and they're going to be able to take bottom turret plates here against this lane that was supposed to be hard winning. They go ahead, turn it to their advantage. Ontario Tech winning through Rise. And Rise, you're picking that champion, and generally you're getting bullied a little bit early on, but when you pick a Galio against it, it's very difficult for him to bully a Rise out of lane. So you're seeing Rise take control of this lane, push it in, and be able to roam where the Galio, all he can do is ultimate to go ahead and respond. And if you're responding in this game, you're not being proactive, you're on the defensive foot, you're generally not making the right decisions there because you're always reacting instead of making those plays.
Absolutely here. That's going to be Dragon falling down. Looks like we're also going to get another Infernal Soul coming through there for us. So keeping it very spicy. Back-to-back games. Definitely looking to grab that for themselves here as the blue buff is going to be taken from the Kazakhs, trying to move in, looking for another potential gank. Has that warrior. I talked about how that is such an important power spike for a champion like Kazakhs. And, well, actually some fighting going through. We're going to see Blinn get very, very low, and he's going to have to back away and try to heal himself right back up.
Well, we're having a little bit of a lull in the game. We're having the laners fighting up against each other, tops fighting, bottoms fighting, junglers are farming up to be able to hit those key item spikes that you're mentioning. We really have to pay attention to where this Rise is on the map. This is a very, very key part about where they're putting their strength in Ontario Tech. When you have 100% of your kills on a single member, really, that is where you're going to win that team fight. But we're having a dive under the mid turret. Galio's going to think retreating is the better part of valor there. Live to fight another day, as Sun Tzu would say.
He's going to go in. Apex Snipe found the hook, but it might cost him his life here. Ignite ticking down. Will Draven be able to find the trade? That is worth in my books. A massive shutdown. A tease having to get away from the Bug and the Camille. We'll be able to do that, but the Draven picking up that shutdown gold, that is everything, and that could make the difference.
Well, let's look at this second item that's coming up. We're going to see the result of this play that happened on bot lane. First, you're shutting down the Rise. There's nowhere really where Ontario Tech is strong on the map with that Rise already back in the Nexus dead. So Draven being able to pick up that second BF sword. So Bloodthirster into BF sword, very, very strong. There's not many champions who could 1v1 him right now, and he's really a huge, huge focal point. It has to be where Saints Gaming is going to be looking to win, and let's pay attention to this next dragon that's going to be coming up in a few minutes.
Well, look at this. Kazakhs has been deleted. They're going to lose another one, but it's going to be a 1-for-1. Quickness coming up from Rakan, but he's so damn low. The young Falcon will be able to slay the support. looking for Blinn. He's the carry you have to try and destroy, doing everything he can. Is going to be the movement, but he misses. The band is tossed. That is going to be still staying alive. Finally, the auto's going to come through here, but Blinn will find the kill, and it's going to be a 2-for-4 in this one as the last one falls down. But Darius is coming into the fight, seeing if he can be that difference maker they need. We'll be able to take another one, but this might actually be a no. Oh my God, he finds it with the auto, finds it with the passive, and overall, that was a decent fight here for both these teams.
Action all over, death timers all over the map. 2,000 gold lead is the end result here for Ontario Tech, and there's just going to be a whole lot of resets. Champions that didn't have kills before now has kills. Look down at the bottom of your map. It's not just Rise and Draven with kills on the board anymore. You're seeing Darius with 2, Amumu with 2. You're seeing Camille over in Kazakhs, Draven even. Galio, just all over, and we're going to start to see other members start to take a bigger effect here in this game. But Draven getting moved over to mid lane, it looks like they're going to have him as a solo against Rise. So a little bit of an interesting macro movements here by Saints Gaming.
This could be a 1v2, no ultimates available, but Satiz has pulled off some crazy moments so far, has to be able to get that Q off, but the Hextech ultimatum will dodge it, and this should be a kill. A shutdown now going over towards the Lord Torch Me, and he's got to be feeling great after coming out with that shutdown gold. The Rip Trail, though, looks like it might go down, but will it be contested? Both junglers are here. Might be a smite fight. Down to about 3k HP. First Rip Trail that went over was actually taken by Ontario Tech, and now the second one will be as well. There's going to be an attempt made, but will not be able to steal it.
Kazakhs didn't really want to get too aggressive on there. He went in for the steal with having the Thresh Lantern to get him out, but he was a level down. He didn't have any help past the river, so just getting to the pit, just having a look, realized there was no play there. Thresh gets him back out. They're just going to go ahead and reset here in the mid lane.
Go for a reset, zoning them off of the tower here. This is going to open up the map massively as they're actually going to get a second charge off with the Rip Trail. Will chunk it down pretty hard. The question is are they going to stay to take it? They're actually going to go for the engage, but it's going to be a missed engage, and now Rakan might try and get himself away. He does somehow. The range with the Lovers duo so far, but he does have to use that flash, that ultimate, and those are some massive cooldowns for someone like your main engager.
And I got to hand it to the Thresh, that death sentence, very on point. It's extremely hard to hit a Rakan while he's diving and ducking over against your Draven, and hitting the perfect Q and into the flay, almost getting that Rakan with the fadeaway Draven ult there. And what they're going to win is they're going to win a dragon off of this. Infernal, the first one of the Infernals going down.
Able to grab that, like you just said. And that's going to increase the damage, make things so much more difficult as they might actually press to go for a bit more. Blue buff's going to be taken away. This is a nice invade again. So many members very, very strong on the side of Ontario Tech. Looking at the mid laner 6-2, the Mumu doing a great job of setting up all of his teammates for success here with these engages, and it makes it so threatening when you have such a great AoE ultimate that you don't want to clump up. You have to make sure that your Draven is not clumped with the Kazakhs, with the Camille here, and he's really the main source of the DPS. You know, Galio does have some great burst potential, but if you delete the Draven, you take down Blinn in these fights, then you actually have a great chance at closing up the rest of that team fight.
Absolutely. There's just not a whole lot going on right now in the squad of Saints Gaming. They're losing the top lane matchup massively. Look at this 66 CS differential. You've got a whole half item differential, and it's only increasing at this point. So yes, you have the TP advantage for Camille, but it's really not going to be able to do too much unless you can turn a massive team fight up on the other side of the map. Darius just cannot be stopped here in a 1v1 matchup. And really, Saints Gaming have to counter that by trying to get a better, odd man advantage there, because 1v1, they're not winning very many places on this map.
That's right. Very difficult to even maneuver around, but 3,000 gold lead right now in favor of Ontario Tech, looking a lot better coming off of that last game They looked a bit shaky, having trouble finding their footing this time around, very much in the driver's seat. Have to see how exactly they drive this car. They are setting up for this Baron very early on here. Don't expect them to go for a 20-minute Baron, but maybe a bait. Maybe trying to get this TP out of the Camille, because that's one of the win conditions right now for Saints Gaming. And we already talked about how great the combo is. The Hextech Ultimatum in towards the Grand Entrance, so powerful with the Camille, with the Galio. It's just about putting that in place, and whether or not the Camille is actually able to step up versus Darius right now. She's actually showing a bit of respect and not pushing up those side lanes all the way.
And right now, when I'm Ontario Tech, I'm looking about how to win a fight here. I'm looking at Zion Rakan to kind of hang back a little bit. Yes, Rakan, if he gets a perfect engage, that can be a way in. But Zion is so far behind at this point that you're really looking to your other 3 carries to be able to be the difference makers here in this game. This Darius, this Amumu, and this Rise are the team, and where they go, they win team fights.
Certainly the case. Baron Dance, it was started up a little bit earlier from Ontario Tech. They're actually going to opt into going for it again, but the Kazakhs is nearby, and I don't think you go for a 50-50 when you're the one in control of the game. You have the goal lead, and if you give this Baron steal over towards Saints Gaming, that is their window right back in the game. They are still on it. They might go for a 50-50. Will they hold it? What will they do? Down to about 2K HP here, 2,500. They're looking to hold it, and they're looking to just maybe burst it. But this Kazakh nearby, will they get in? No! Perfectly executed here from Ontario Tech, and they get the Baron, and Kazakh does not even get in the pit.
Very patient play from Ontario Tech, knowing where Saints Gaming are located. They had full control of what was going to happen there. They brought it down to 2,000 health, which is that magic number. They waited, and with no action coming in forth from Saints Gaming, they burst it down, just as Vision was saying, and in less than 2 seconds, able to get that Baron buff over, and now a clear advantage in this game that was oh so close up until the 21-minute mark.
The communication that has to come out in the comms. You know, a situation like that has to be perfect. Your shot caller saying, don't hit the Baron, guys. Hold it at 2,000 HP. Waiting. Burst it, takes it down. Just so well done for this team. And this is looking like a totally different team here from the last game here right now, Rav. They are just completely regained. It seems like they're coming out, and they're looking very strong. But they need to close this. They have the Baron. They haven't exactly taken any towers just yet, but they are slowly working themselves up towards the map, doing these fundamentals, covering with Vision here. Just have to see where exactly they look to target on the map next.
Definitely from a psychological angle, going into the mid game with even in the game, having already won against this same team a month ago, you kind of know that you're already in this. You're just 1-2 plays away from winning this game, and when you have that confidence, you're able to make those proactive plays. There we saw it going twice onto the Baron and forcing the issue with Saints Gaming not able to do anything to respond.
Not able to do anything, trying to just grab camps and take away what they possibly can in towards the blue quadrant at the moment, denying Vision. But again, the towers is what you want to take. It looks like finally they're going to be able to grab something here in this Baron power play. The tier 2 now has fallen down in the bot side as they're going to press for maybe another advantage, but no, they're actually just going to back away. They're just going to say, let's not give a kill over, let's not overforce it, let them back in towards the game. They're just going to settle themselves here for another Infernal Drake.
They're taking the safe objectives, they're taking the safe goal, pushing in mid, swinging towards bottom. They've already taken the blue buff, they're taking the second Infernal Dragon right now, and in all likelihood, they are going to push mid in once again, head back over the top, take that last tier 2 turret, head back to base, have that nice buy, and then go into the remaining team fights with item leads on their opponents.
Going to be the goal. Now they just have to do it. The T's actually might get engaged on here. Exec Ultimatum is available. They're going to send 3 members to try and take down this Juggernaut. Well, he's going to be able to get the Stair Skates passive. He's going to get a bit of a heal with the Conqueror. He takes down 1! Lord Touch Me has fallen down. They sent 3 members, but they should have sent the whole team, and it might not even be done. They're going to go for another engage onto the tower. Potentially, here comes the quickness into the Grand Entrance. They have found Galio, but will they be able to take down the kill? Excuse me, that was Apex Snipe. He's deleted. The Gazix goes in, but quickly shut down. They have lost 4. The only one alive is the Draven, and he has to defend versus 4 more members.
And Visions, that was such a bad touch there in the bot lane with Lord's Touch Me going down and a 3v1 onto Darius. They had to get that kill. Darius life-stealed, and he was not going down quickly. Got the kill onto Lord Touch Me and broke this game wide open using this Baron buff that just ended, but they did have it prior for that fight, and being able to already get 2 inhibitors down, a Nexus turret down, and that buy that I was talking about, it's going to be even more impactful than what was predicted.
They're not going to end it. So the hope is still alive right now for the side of Saints Gaming, but you just saw how difficult it was to deal with the Darius. They sent 3 members. He took one, flashed out, bought time for his jungle to join in towards a team fight, and then they found the engage. They used the Amumu, they used the Rakan and set up perfectly for it. The Baron now no longer active. They are going to be able to spend all that gold. Like you said, the resets now coming through the map a little bit mismatched, but it looks like they're just waiting, maybe looking to go for the red. Would have been a little bit greedy. Finally, the Lovers duo going to reset here. Mumu does not want to share the red buff with his hating carry. He'll grab that for himself. And now it's probably just going to be one more team fight, and that could literally decide this game.
And we were talking a lot about this game about win conditions. And when you look at over the blue side in Ontario Tech, at Rise and Darius, that we continually say these are the win conditions, these are the win conditions, and look who's leading in this game. Look who's taking advantage. Look who just made that massive play on bottom lane, and that's being able to be a 1-on-3 and come out advantageous. He got himself into that position by 20 minutes of excellent play, and there you go, breaking open the game for his team, and that's the Darius top. With no Ignite, no TP, he went for movement, got himself in the right area, and once again,
they're going to try it again, but we know how it went last time. Will it work this time? He's looking to get that Conqueror healing here, looking to use that Q, forcing out the flash. They send 4, and well, 4 will do the job, but at what cost on the map?
I'm laughing so hard here because you just pictured the 3 going in again, and once again the Darius coming out on top. And I'm laughing because that's not what happened. They sent a 4th member. It's like, if 3's not going to work, let's send 4. They send Darius back to base, and now they can try to get some sort of stability with super minions pushing, and it's still another 3 or 4 minutes of supers pushing hard into the base. So they just buy themselves a little bit of time, but really with Saints, that's all you can do at this point. Try to push those waves out, try to get some vision inside your jungle, and try to contest this next Baron. I say try a lot because I don't know if they can do any of it.
That's the question. So difficult to even move into your own jungle. And when you're in a situation like that, how do you know when they're on the Baron? How do you get your Kazakhs close enough to contest the 50-50 steal, especially when they played the last Baron so well, so coordinated here? But they do have the Draven to rely on if he's going to be able to put out the autos. Does not have his summoners, and Glenn here in a little bit of a situation where he needs to have those if he's going to team fight versus the Rise, versus the Rakan, the Amumu, all these great engage tools. However, they're just going to turn their attention purely towards the big purple worm. Looks like there's going to be nobody even close towards it. And now that's going to be the second Baron of the game going over to Ontario Tech.
9,000 gold, a fresh Baron now at 3 minutes. That's right, one of the changes in 9.23, Baron has been set, just like with Elder Dragon, for a nice even 180 seconds, 3 minutes. So easy to remember, that's going to be up until about 30 minutes. We're going to see if they need that long to finish this game. Darius is daring anyone, jump on me. What? I dare you. I dare you. Come on, come on, come on, come on.
Grouped as 5, waiting to use that ultimate. There's going to be the heroic entrance in the back line here. Rakan on top of the Draven, but he's all alone, and Blinn has found the first one of the fight. But that's the flash forward, the curse of the sad mummy. They're getting everybody solo. Rise is ripping through his targets. Galio goes in, but nobody can tank the Rise damage. A double ends up coming through for the Xayah at the end. They are going to only have 1 left. They want to go for KDA, diving on the Nexus with the Realm Warp. Darius will pay for it with his life, but it does not matter. They close out a very clean game. And Ontario Tech look to have changed and be a completely different team.
And that's all she wrote. If you're reading this book, it was a gripping story. You weren't sure who was going to win halfway through this book. Was it going to be the villain? Was it going to be the protagonist? Well, the protagonist ended up ahead here, and I'm only saying that because they ended up pulling it out here at the end. Darius and Rise coming out ahead. Their bot lane, Xayah and Rakan holding on, not going down, and towards the mid part of this game, and an excellent show of mid-game strategy and macro here from Ontario Tech. They put 1 on the board, now 1 win, 2 losses.
1 win, 2 losses. As we'll get a second to kind of take a look at some of the damage that they were doing in that game right there. It's beautifully done all around the board. Rise, 22,000. I think that was the difference maker. And looking in that last game there, Rav, it looks like the Vanguard had his footing, but they just put so much attention in towards him. You know, they ganked him time and time again. They sent 3 members, sent 2 members, and doing everything they possibly could to try and shut that man down. Well, that might have been the reason, because he had a fantastic game, ended with the most damage, had 3 items working on the 4th there, 8, 2, and 9. Certainly had the help of his teammate. I mean, we can't help but look at the top laner here at Tees, who drew so much pressure for them to take all those objectives.
And I said it before, I'll say it again, that's all she wrote. And we have our 5th game of the day all done. 6th game coming right up between the UTM eSports, University of Toronto, Mississauga against Western Legends. We're going to be having these undefeated teams go head-to-head in the 6th game of the day.
Perfect. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. We're throwing away to a short little break so that we can set that up for you. We'll be right back.
So
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to jump in towards the action for the grand finals. We got some very spicy matches ahead of us here. And of course, my name is VisionZz+. Joined with me is Rav Exel. Rav, we've got to see some of these teams going in towards this series coming up and leading in towards this. Either way, I'm very excited to be able to jump in towards our grand final here. And for our grand final, we do actually have ourselves an interesting matchup. Western going up against UTM eSports here.
Both 2-0 teams, very, very, very tightly contested. We were looking at some of the elos of these players, very, very high. We're talking master, grandmaster. I even saw a challenger sweater out there. I gotta say, I was a little bit elo jealous.
Yeah, and now we're getting ready to actually jump in towards champion select here for you guys. So we are going to transition that on over. Also be the first time we actually get to see what order they're pick and banning in. And a lot of these bans have actually been targeted over towards the Conqueror champions. No surprise, Conqueror has been rising in popularity since we have entered preseason. Either way, we are going to see some of those assassins taken off the table. A Kali and a Kiana going to fall first.
And just to kind of discuss, we have on the left-hand side, we do have Western League of Legends, and on the right-hand side, we have University of Toronto, Mississauga, UTM, and already we see the Kiana ban, which is a little bit of an unusual ban. We don't see that all the time. At the center, we see all the time. Doing very, very well in the 80 carry, the support position, and really has been a pick or ban in high elo games in the last patch.
That's right, and also just for some insight, guys, both of these teams right now, 2-0. They did not play each other in the group play because there was no need to. They had already been the solidified teams advancing here towards our grand final here. So now we're going to see how they're actually going to match up after beating out the rest of the teams, showing they are the stronger of the group. And now as we get in towards the pick, Syndra is going to be picked up first.
Yep, Syndra picked up here for Western League of Legends, and immediately followed after that, very quickly, the Olaf. This is live right now. There was no pro draft ahead of time. You are watching live pick and ban. First Olaf at the tournament that VisionZz and I were talking about a little bit before. We've seen 5 games of action and no Olaf. We were thought, that was a little bit strange. Isn't he like really strong right now?
That's right, and he was banned every time. Surprise, surprise. But this time we're going to see him. And I imagine we're probably going to get that going in towards the jungle here for us. Matched by the Kazakhs, also another champion that likes to go for that Conqueror, get the healing, has some great early game presence. And if snowballing, we know how dangerous those one-shots can be.
Absolutely, and when we're talking about OP picks, Heimerdinger for 9.23 has got to be one of the strongest. Being played in the mid lane, being played in the bot lane. Hell, I've even seen him played in the top lane and win games.
Right.
But found out in the Twitch rivals that we were casting last night, we saw Tyler One use him to some success and ended up winning the tournament from it.
Yeah, playing in almost every game if I'm not mistaken. So pretty crazy. Either way, they have the opportunity to actually flex things around here. They could put the Syndra in the bot lane. Actually heard Short Hop about flexing that in towards the bot lane if they so wish. So a potential pick. We'll have to wait and see as we go through it. Either way, the Lovers duo is going to be making it in towards the first game of this best of 3, and now on towards phase 2 bans.
That's a little bit of casting insight you got there, right? Just cozying up on the team, here in the Syndra. Oh, maybe bot lane. Oh, this is the type of in-game, inside scoop that you're going to get from VisionZz and myself. You know, being very, talking with the teams here, and just like even bringing coaches to the squad, bringing jerseys. Like I said, a challenger sweater. These teams came here to play and they came here to win. And here we're seeing the 2 best go head to head.
We certainly are. And now we're going to see the Yasuo that actually was played a little bit earlier in towards the tournament. Not going to see any signs of life of that champion here in the first game of the best of 3. And Morgana and Leona, the pinching towards the support role. No surprise, as they already have their support picked up. They want to make it easier for 1811 to go in with this Rakan, make sure there's no black shield, make sure there's no return fire from someone tanky like the Leona, and certainly pinching out the pool could make the difference going in towards at least the very first game.
Excellent point there, Vision. I mean, the Leona is the classic counter pick to Rakan, but very interesting in this tournament is that Morgana has been played just about every game, and you don't see that in every professional game. You don't see that in every tournament, but you saw that specifically here. So a little bit of a tournament meta with the ban coming out here, with Rakan being picked up. You're seeing the Morgana ban, and that's from this tournament specific. We're having pick or ban Morgana in the support role.
And look at this. I love this. We saw Red Eclipse. He played the Jace in the last game we got to actually cast this team with, and he looked phenomenal. Well, it looks like this time around they are looking to save that pick for him again in the top side. Unless they flex the Olaf top, which again, something they could look at doing, but the Orianna is going to be locked in, and that offers some excellent engage from your Rakan, who can just set up for the grand entrance and the quickness, and just pretty much guarantee you a shockwave hit on multiple members.
Whoa, we got a Malphite pick. This is a Malphite. It looks like it's going to be in top lane, who we still don't know who he's against. So a decent blind pick if this Malphite is in fact going top, where he can still farm underneath tower. It's hard to poke him out. He can still harass with the Q, but suffers from a lot of mana issues. So we're going to have to see how Malphite is able to judge that lane and be able to transition towards the team fights, is where he gets a really strong buff from his ultimate and his engages, and it looks like he's going to take teleport, which gets him across the map that much quicker.
That's right, and the Aatrox being locked in looks like it will be going to the top side. It was quickly locked in, so it might have been Red Eclipse saying, listen guys, it's a Malphite, give me Aatrox, let me destroy this game, make sure he never plays Malphite ever again, because that's a champion that could certainly do that for you, able to, absolutely pop off, even pull off some 1v2s with the healing from that new Conqueror. Aatrox already great at healing up there with the help of his passive on those autos, and especially when he gets that Death's Dance. So now going in towards this one, that's a lane that we gotta watch out for, because it could snowball very hard here in their favor.
And as you're mentioning, Red Eclipse picking up the Aatrox, knowing the matchup that he's going into. Now, he did pick Aatrox in the first game up against a Kled, so they did win that game up against Saints Gaming. So picking it up for a second time in the tournament where it counts most. We're here in the finals. This is a best of 3 for the Ontario Collegiate Championship, the Ontario eSports League, okay? We're in the finals, and these are the 2 undefeated teams going at it for game 1. I can't wait for this game action, but let's talk a little bit more about these champions. The picks are very exciting. Like I can see so many things that are going to unfold here right before our eyes.
Yeah, and look at this last minute switch. I talked about how they could actually flex the Syndra in towards the bot lane, which is something Shorthop was talking about. But instead, they actually flexed the Heimerdinger down towards the bot side, which means that it makes it very difficult for you to set up those engages here on towards someone like a Heimer who just drops his turrets down. And if you're going to engage on him, you got to make sure you blow him up quick, or he has the ability to turn that around, especially with the Thresh. We got to see some fantastic Thresh play a little bit earlier there from Apex, and he was doing a great job there on a lot of those death sentences, landing them, setting up his team. We'll have to see if it's going to be the case when the Rakan goes to engage for this one, but I got a question for you, Rav. I want to talk about this jungle matchup, because both of these junglers are going to be actually starting with Conqueror, I do imagine, and both of them want to get that early snowball. So if you're the jungler, what lane are you looking to try and affect going in towards game number 1?
I'll speak first to the Olaf, as it's probably been my most picked champion in the last half of 2019, so it's a matchup I'm very, very familiar with. If you're looking to gank, there's really options all over, but if I'm looking towards mid and top lane, and especially top lane before level 6, because when Malphite gets his ultimate, he's able to use that unstoppable force to get right out, saves his flash, and then he just goes right back to lane, and that ultimate is back up in less than 2 minutes. So that's what I'm looking for the Olaf, mid and top lane. For the opposite side, the Kazakhs, it's really the same sort of scenario. I think a lot of focus towards the Aatrox specifically. Orianna, yes, she doesn't have a like a quick escape or anything like that, but she does have a shield. She can slow, she can speed herself up, and in the bot lane, it's just at level 6, it's ultra safe. So that's what I'm looking at, Kazakhs towards the top lane.
Yeah, and I love that you bring up the mid lane, because this is almost like a throwback going back to like Season 5, Season 6, where we had just mages in the mid lane constantly, didn't see too many assassins. Well, we're back towards the state. PETA also had a fantastic showing on stream. He decimated his lane opponent. He looked very strong on that Ryze. The Ryze didn't even make it through and was actually banned away here from Western, as they did not want this man getting a hold of that going in towards their very first game. So the Orianna versus Syndra matchup, very independent here, or or dependent rather, on the Syndra actually landing the scatter of the week. And if that happens, you can still blow people up. So I expect, like you just said, the junglers to put a lot of attention towards the mid lane, because both immobile champions can be ganked very easily, especially when they don't have that
And
flash.
a little bit of gamesmanship I just want to throw in right before we switch over is that Syndra is actually a takeaway from PETA. PETA played Syndra in the first game against Saints Gaming and came up with the win there. So taking away the mid lane's champion that he's already picked and won with is a little bit of gamesmanship from Western, and possibly throwing UTM for a little bit of a loop.
Yeah, trying to spice things up. And now let's take a step back here, Rav. We talked about the champions. We talked about the teams, but let's go more in depth with the teams. Let's talk about Western Legends. Let's talk about what they did last year and how they made an incredible run in 2019. They're finishing second there in the collegiate pool, which is actually something you had told me. And that's incredible for so many different reasons, because they already have the experience. Well, they're being streamed, they're being casted. Now let's talk about the other side here, UTM eSports. Are they going to be able to play under this pressure? Are they going to be able to, live up to the hype that they have made it through pools? They're going up against a very strong opponent here, and now we're seeing exactly what they're going to do. As looks like we're going to jump right into a pause right away. Either way, we'll figure out what is going to be on the table for as far as what's going on, but this gives us just a little bit more time to talk about exactly what they did in that last year.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was one of the people who were watching this team go through the playoffs and go right into the finals, having watched University of Toronto do it the year prior. Very exciting to see yet another Canadian team, and yet another Ontario team coming and going and showing that we have some of the best players in all of North America right here in Canada. And just look at the league in the North American LCS. FlyQuest is a fair bit Canadian team. Right. Their academy teams got tons of Canadians on them, and then also just scattered throughout the map, like Jat, one of the main casters. He's from a town I used to live in over in British Columbia. So really tons of League of Legends talent coming from all over Canada. And yeah, finishing as a finalist, second place in the 2019 CLOL series is definitely a feather in the cap. And we have 3 of those players coming right back into this upcoming year in 2020, and they'd have to be favorites to get out of this Eastern Division.
Oh, I would 100% agree with you. Has to be favorites going in again, as it looks like that pause is going to be taken down. Now we are jumping in towards the action. Ladies and gentlemen, we're on the Rift. Grand Finals are upon us here for the Collegiate Invitational here for OESL. It is time. Western Legends up against UTM Esports. It only comes down to this right now, Rav. Who's going to show up and who's going to take this first game?
I tell you, I'm feeling a little tingling in my arm. I'm so excited. No, it's not a heart attack. No, it's just these undefeated teams coming right out in the finals. We couldn't have asked for better finals. These guys going right through their opponents, saying that they belong in this finals. They are going to be performing in this 2020 season, upcoming very shortly. And now we're going to see these 2 titans of the Ontario Collegiate team fighting with one another. And I have to give a slight advantage just over to Western, just because they have 3 of those players coming back.
They got the experience, Rav. They got everything that they need to close this one out. Now it comes down to execution, preparation for their composition. Either way, a lot of very strong champions on Summoner's Rift at the moment, and minions are going to be spawning in. Junglers, looks like they're both going to be starting opposite to each other. Actually, this actually looks like a late invade that's coming through at the moment. I love to see this. They could be going in just right to the red. They're not going to find anything, and they actually see a ward that was placed down. This is very good response, but they should be able to get themselves away with the red buff at the very least.
Yeah, and starting with that Scrying Orb and Olaf allows them to walk up there and know exactly where they're seen and where they're not seen. They're going to take this buff, and they're going to continue on. I'm expecting to see Olaf to continue farming that bot side jungle, as he's going to assume that Kha'Zix is just going to go in vertical jungle towards his red.
We have to see what he does. He is going to do exactly that. Actually starting the jump second, so he gets over the wall a little bit faster. Olaf not going for any more camps. He's just going to settle for that. Looks like he actually did try to make an attempt towards the mid lane, but a nice read coming through there from Chim. Make sure he does not get taken down. Top lane, already a lot of mana expended here from this Malphite. He's probably going to take a lot of punishment, but did go for the Corruption Potion because he knows he's going to have to reset. He's going to have to try and stay healthy as possible to make sure he does not start feeding in towards his Aatrox.
And I got to hand it to Tyler 1 in this last tournament. You know, going undefeated, playing Heimer in the bottom. Has he just shifted the meta? Now we're seeing Heimer again. Yes, I called it beforehand, but he's going to say that he's completely changed the meta, and now players are going to be copying him playing the Heimer in the bot lane.
Very true, and play they will. Have to see how well it's going to end up doing. Definitely know it's difficult to gank this lane as Red Eclipse has a pretty big wave crashing in towards him at the moment. They don't know where the Olaf is at the moment here, but there is a ward placed in that tri-bush, and that certainly should spot out the Olaf for when he does leave. However, there was no camps taken in the top side here besides the red. Kha'Zix only took the red, and now he's actually losing 2 more of his camps. So this either forces him to go for an invade in towards the blue side here, or actually force a gank down in towards the bot side. So this is actually a tricky situation right now for the jungler on Western Legends.
And while you were keeping track of those very key early jungle movements, which is such a big part of the early game, we saw Aatrox and Malphite go head-to-head in the top line, with Aatrox coming out slightly the better. So picking his champion already played in this tournament, we're having Red Eclipse getting the better of the Malphite, who's not known as a lane bully. As said prior, looking to make those differences in those mid-game team fights, looking to use that ultimate on 3, 4, 5 opponents to just crush the fight. But we're having early action in the bot lane. Whoa, death sentence!
Yeah, it's going to land. A lot of damage going through on 1911, but not really able to convert on it as the Grand Entrance comes through. But a flash in the mid lane. They're looking for Peta. A lot of damage with the electrocute here that was not taken. It wasn't the Conqueror taken in for the jungle. They're looking just to go for pure burst damage. However, do get the flash out, but trade it for the junglers.
Another summoner I got to point to is Orianna taking Phase Rush, which again has been is a fairly standard one, but we've seen a lot of champions going the spellbook as with the Dopa hitting #1 in Korea. He made that very, very famous in these past few months, being able to get to the first rank in just a mere couple of months, going with the classic build over the Phase Rush. Just going to look for that speed and that maneuverability.
Whoa, that's a flash coming through there from Blaze Nova, but he is not going to find it, as it actually looks like the directed camera's flipped just quickly enough, but we didn't see the flash for Flash. Either way, you'll take that as a support. That also make sure that the Olaf isn't able to flash on any of his lanes here for the next 5 minutes. Top lane, though, maybe in a bit of trouble, looking to land those crits. Flash might be forced out, and it is. And a nice flash, but it will cost him a lot of this pressure versus Red Eclipse.
Yeah, and looking at the farm in top lane, 18 to 30, and already Aatrox is going to be able to push this wave directly into tower. Now, Malphite will be able to teleport back up. He won't lose any of the XP, but he is going to lose some tempo here, as Aatrox is going to be able to go back and get a really strong first buy, CSing much, much stronger than his counterpart, Malphite.
Yep, certainly the case, but there's something we got to talk about, and that is the Dragons right now, Rav. We know how important they are at the moment. Of course, with the change in towards the preseason, once that second Dragon is taken, we then find out what our third Dragon will actually be, and it can be very, very interesting, especially when you get some of those Infernals, those mountains that change up the map here pretty significantly, so have to watch for that as we are going to progress throughout the game. But the first one certainly will be taken from UTM, and I'm sure they will be very happy with that Cloud Dragon here at the start.
And we were talking about the junglers earlier and what each of them hope to do in the terms of ganks, but in terms of early pressure, there's few champions that really match Olaf's ability to take a dragon early, to gank a lane early, to even clear this new jungle very quickly, and he's able to do it all in the early and mid game. And there you see that early Wind Dragon around the 5-minute mark, which again, it's pretty much impossible to take any dragon earlier than that. And there you see, like you said, with these dragon stones being so key. Whoa, another death sentence!
It's gonna land. Ignite taking down. Do they have enough damage in the kit? Does not look like it is going to be enough to find a kill, but chunking out Zion very low here, as she's actually going to eat a few more rockets, and this might actually force her to reset. There is no teleport available, so she will most likely miss out on a wave if she does decide to reset, but instead the healing from her con looks like it'll keep her healthy enough, maybe stay another wave or two.
And we're talking about these 3 players that came from the finalists of the 2019 LOL series, but here...
No flash! Goodbye! First blood locked in here for the Kha'Zix, and now he's going to start snowballing.
Yes, absolutely. So Olaf gets the first dragon, Kha'Zix gets the first kill. If you're a hard carry and you want the agency in the game, you want that kill. But a big fight going in top lane, they're going trade for trade. Both have level 6, both being very careful about overextending into each other's minion wave.
Certainly being very careful, as we're going to see a little bit of damage. Maybe these bottlers not being too careful, trading back and forth. Who's going to fall first? 1911 grabs at the triumph. Looks like it's going to keep him alive with a flashing forward. Will be enough with the auto there from Short Hop. So it will actually be a trade support for 80 carry. You will happily take that if you're Western. And they might actually find a double. Short Hop does. He's going to have enough damage. That's the stop TP, though, from the ultimate. Right, result in a kill. The Malphite is going to solo kill Red Eclipse on the Aatrox.
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. They're taking everything on this map. Western, LOL, winning in the bottom lane. Not only that, stopping the teleport in the top and picking up the kill as Malphite, and he's back in this top lane. No longer will he have to let the Aatrox bully him and let that kid who's a grade older than you and he's got about 10 pounds on you push you around. No, he's like, I'm standing up for myself. I'm going to hit back. And hit back he does with the unstoppable force.
You'll love to see this from the top laner that you were just expecting to stay alive. He is simply going to be used as a teamfight engager. But as I say, the Shockwave in the mid lane will find Syndra. Now, here comes the jungler looking to back up this play. Grand Entrance is going to find Jin, but it's not actually going to be enough to actually take him out. So Chim is going to get out alive, but will the Thresh? Looks like it will be so. Plays Nova and Chim both going to lick their wounds, but will be A-okay here and will not go down.
And these Rakans at this tournament, they are not staying in bot lane. Ever since the changes in bot lane XP, where you get 2% less P if you're XP if you're both in the lane. But whoa, almost going down there. The Syndra almost able to pick up the kill, but it's a much more. Another fight going on. Top lane, it's a 2-on-1, and wow, like. I wanted to switch off my point there, but it didn't really give me any time. But we have Rift Herald also coming up in top. This is a huge change of events from how that first trade went in top lane.
It certainly is. Rift Herald's going to crack open a few plates, maybe even help them secure them 3 or 4 even, as there is no one up here in response. Orianna is not running towards that lane, does not have the teleport. Red Eclipse, who just fell down to a very nice gank yet again here from Saber, will not be able to TP back. So this looks like it will be 3 plates going over. Another kill over towards the Malphite now, who's 2-0. And, well, we talked about how Red Eclipse might be able to bully around this Malphite, but now he's down 0-2 and there's already a Brambles Vest picked up. How do you deal with this Malphite at this point in time?
Well, you're already in a bad situation here, so very gently at this point, because he's going to get so much armor. And look at the damage composition of the jungler and the top laner here for UTM, both physical damage. So all Malphite has to do is make that Balmy Cinder, start building that armor, and his first 2 armor items, after they're complete, no one's going to be able to touch him in top lane unless you're going to bring some magic damage. And really, I don't see Orianna going up top lane to cause a big 3v1 anytime soon.
That doesn't look like it, but we do know the dragon spawn, and this one will be an Infernal, so you can guarantee that there's probably going to be a lot of priority around this dragon here as the top laners go at it once again. That ultimate's actually back up. It's going to be forcing out the ultimate here from Aatrox as he's trying to get himself away. We could actually see a solo kill just break out at any point in time. The healing is coming out, but Red Eclipse certainly still in a lot of trouble and feeling the pressure at the moment.
Malphite does have unstoppable force up. He is looking at it. Red Eclipse does have flash. So we're looking for that type of play here. That's why Red Eclipse is staying very close to the tower, is that he wants to game Malphite to come in underneath the tower, flash away, and counter. But if all for naught, Malphite's going to go back and buy, I predict, more armor.
Yeah, probably the case, as that is going to be the dragon slain here. You love to see that. Now I believe we are 1-for-1 for dragons at the moment, if I'm not mistaken. And we're also going to see the change of the map. I believe the first time on stream that we're actually going to get ourselves an Ocean Drake. That is going to change up the map. A little bit more brushes here now that you can play through, and maybe changes the way you ward things, which is something also we can talk about, how the Soul Dragon affecting the map changes maybe where you traditionally ward. And now this is actually a great example, considering there's more brushes, more things you have to be wary of when walking in towards enemy territory.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. But it's very dangerous in this jungle now without any vision, with all these bushes. So you have to be very careful when you're going to your enemy's jungle that you're not going to get collapsed upon with all the darkness in the map now, with so many more places for teams to hide in.
Exactly. And it's calming down at the moment, but still a very nice lead built up for the side of Western Legends, doing what they do best. And, well, that's a nice flash from PETA, but that is going to be the ultimate from this name, though. And you can still see them being very proactive. Now, because of the pressure in the top side, he's able to roam and do these things. And PETA is now feeling even more members come in towards his lane.
And that's the spell used for Summoner that we were looking for, the Unstoppable Force for the Flash. You're going to take that every time as Malphite. But here, having to fight inside the jungle, this is a level 9 versus a level 7, but action being made unfair with Aatrox coming in. He's going to flash for that. That's going to cost him. He's going to use a very, very key Summoner.
Over the wall! He is going to get baited, and the shutdown comes through for the jungler, picking up his first kill. This name, though, bites off a little bit more than he can chew. And it will cost him his life. But the bot side, engaged. Grand Entrance is going to be laying on towards a couple. As they return fire, they are going to pull off the 2v3. Something we see time and time again from the Lovers duo.
Walls? What walls? All I'm seeing is champions going over walls and picking up kills left and right. We're seeing jumps. We're seeing flashes. We're seeing all kinds of aggressive play over immovable objects. And they're going ahead and changing the map where it was a fair fight into not. But here, big action.
He has to get himself away. Going back in. Blaze Nova's going to flash forward, but a very nice time stopwatch from 1881. But we'll get him out. That is going to be a double picked up for the Heimerdonger. But it isn't going to matter because it actually is going to be a trade. A 1-for-2. Still favorable. But at least something back in the pockets of the bot lane here for the side of UTM.
And I'm really looking towards Heimerdinger here, now at 4-1. He's purchasing items right now. It'll be interesting to see if he does anything beside that lost chapter. He went for upgraded boots. He's still got that ruby crystal there, so I'll be very curious to see what he continues to build. Very frequently the Luden's Echo, but we're going to have to see. Is it going to be a little bit different? No?
Wait.
Okay.
And we also have the Rift Herald coming up here in just about 40 seconds. That's something very key. But like as you point out right there, 4-1 for the Heimer, and this is where they're going to start playing around it. And when you have a Heimer that's ahead, it makes it so easy to start sieging, because if you go ahead and engage, well, he puts his big turret down when his ultimate's available and up, and well, then what do? Do you sit in the range? No, you usually have to disengage and back away. And this champion having a lead like this just creates so much space, so much momentum for you to start looking for towers around the map. And well, guess what? There is still a lot of towers in the taking, as there has been nothing taken as of just yet.
A lot of pings going around Dragon right now, but an interaction that I'm looking at is Olaf running in with the Orianna ball on top of him. So being able to go ahead and pop that ultimate so that he ignores the CC and is able to tank a lot more, and then have Orianna use the shockwave immediately after. So we're going to see if that's how they set up that play.
Best Thresh players know where to position when under pressure. And right there you saw Blaze Nova says, well, I'll play back. If you want to play forward for the wave, go ahead. I got your lantern. I will get you into safety. And that's what you love to see. I believe actually these two returning as a bot lane here from last year. So they already have the synergy, but I'm going to have to hold that thought, as they might have found the jungler. And very nice side step to make sure he does not get hit from Scatter the Weak there. The Unleashed Power was available from Zinjo. However, top side, going to see some trading back and forth. Not doing as much damage as the early game that you saw. Now Red Eclipse, BNB realizes that he actually can't full-on attack this Malphite, who assumed very early on that he might have had it, but here's an invade looking for this kill on towards Olaf. Goodbye. Saber's going to pick up a solo kill right in the Grop area.
Isolation damage, and that right away puts a stop to Olaf farming and taking objectives here. With Dragon coming up, the Western League of Legends is going to be in a prime position to be able to take this ever important third dragon, their second. But we're going to have to find out. They haven't gotten it yet, but with 2 kills already against UTM, it would be very surprised if they didn't take this.
For sure, and we just saw on the top side another kill going through. Red Eclipse showing some dominating performances on those lane bullies very early on in the group stage here. Now struggling to be able to do that same amount of gameplay, as it is going to be now another dragon. I believe this should be the second one picked up right now for the side of Western Legends. The first one being their Infernal, and the other dragon that was picked up from UTM was an Ocean Dragon, or sorry, I believe a Cloud Dragon.
Yes, absolutely. They do have the Cloud going, and it is 2 dragons to 1. It's not a complete sweep on that just yet, but I'm literally looking towards the gold lead. Now at 3,500 as we transition towards the mid-game. Already the first tower gone on the bot lane. That Heimer fresh lane already pressuring enough, and ooh, very, very close.
Shockwave Very beautifully flashed, but short hop. He finds the snipe with the grenades. And now we might actually see PETA end up falling anyway. It is going to have the backup from his support, but looking for a hook. Will not land here. 1-8-1-1. Holding on towards his abilities. However, Saber flashing, looking for the Zaya. She's going to pop the Feather Storm, but can she get out? No, Saber is so fed, and he will find his third kill in the blue quadrant just like he did a few minutes ago.
Absolutely dangerous. He's like Crocodile Dundee in the 80s, okay? He is just, look at that. You call that a knife? You call that a knife? He's got a dust blade knife.
Oh, this man. Well, he certainly has a knife. I will agree with you there. Red Eclipse, he's going to have the backup from his support. Maybe this time he might be able to find a kill. But the teleport coming through, I believe this might be from the mid laner. Jim looking to join in towards the fight here. Can they turn it around? 1-8-1-1 is going to be the target, but can they close the gap? Red entrance lands. He's in and back out, but that is going to be the ultimate, forcing up a double knockup. Jim will secure one. Re-engage now coming through for UTM, but can they find any kills? Jim will be the target, but does not have his flash. He's just fishing forward. Will use the unleashed power. He takes one down with him, but it is at the cost of a shutdown over to PETA.
2 for 1 on that one. Syndra is able to get the best, being able to pick up 2 there. So we do have Western LOL being able to extend their lead. This is the second Rift Herald of the game, and they keep stacking objectives, stacking gold, and well, it's just stacking.
A great position right now, 13-5 kills. The gold lead starting to extend. As we see, just over about 6,000 here at 18.5 minutes. That Baron's going to be spawning, and we have seen some great Baron control so far at this entire tournament right now. But as I say that, this might be a kill, another pick. He's feeling it. It's going to be the red buff. Actually, it's going to be the red smite there with the skirmisher picking up another kill here. This Olaf struggling to even hold his ground in his jungle.
They need vision in their jungle. Yes, they have 2 control wards in the bot lane. They had this deep ward here, but you cannot be alone in this jungle anymore with this Kha'Zix at the position that he is. He's got Warrior, he's got Dustblade. Really, he can take anyone on 1v1, and he's doing so. We're seeing him go against everyone and coming out victorious.
Coming out victorious. The point I was trying to make before was the Baron control from the winning team. It has been excellent shot calling so far in this day here at this Collegiate Invitational. And I'll have to see how exactly Western Legends decides to set up around this, because 30 seconds from now, it will be spawning on towards the map. They already have some of that vision in towards the river, but you want to get yourself in towards the red quadrant here. And to do that, you need to push out the mid lane, get that mid lane priority, and then drop that vision as a team here. You can see them doing it here in the blue quadrant on the opposite side of the map. So this means that they might just be looking to set up their split pusher to push all the way in and keep looking for that side lane presence.
And one thing I want to go ahead and pause for is that I just want to thank the City of Hamilton for having us. They are supporting this event, allowing us to be here, and also the Mohawk College as well for allowing us to use their facilities and inviting the teams over. A real big community support here for this event, and it definitely feels very special.
Absolutely does. As we actually see the ultimate forced out. Short hop trying to look for a pick, seeing if they might step up a little bit too far, but UTM eSports holding their ground at the moment, not overextending when they don't have to. The only time they're going to have to overextend is when there's too many members that disappear on the map and they don't know whether or not they're actually going to be on that Baron, but they do have a ward there now, so there really is no reason for them to overstep without being together as a team. And now this is where it comes down to macro play at this point in time. 21 minutes in the game. You're in the driver's seat if you're Western Legends. You can see the side lane pressure already starting to stack. They got 2 members in the top side, and this might actually be a dive. A lot of damage on Red Eclipse. Here comes the Kha'Zix. He's going in. The Bug's got the damage, but a nice outplay from Red Eclipse. Might be able to find a trade. No, he will not be able to. The auto from the tower will not execute him, so they find another pick here on the top laner.
And putting 4 members on the bot side, we were asking the question, are they going to prioritize Baron? But no, they prioritize the bot side and get that lane push and get a favorable team fight win, and now they're going to have to be able to stack their 3rd dragon, their 2nd ocean, if they can go ahead and get this one settled. But not wanting to leave this one uncontested, we're having UTM being able to come and get the early damage. They just want to force this one through. They don't want to let a third dragon go over to Western. What's going to happen?
I love this call, but the TP's coming down in the back. They're looking for a flank. They're looking for the engage. Grenade's going to be thrown out to land onto multiple members, but the dragon has already been secured by UTM. Now we're going to see the shockwave drop down. We are only going to get one member falling. That was the Olaf. Now a second as Saber will lock and sink his claws into the mid laner and finish him off with the Executioner. Nice Feather Storm coming through from the Xayah, but still not out of harm's way just yet. Waiting to call the feathers back as the Grand Entrance will knock up 2 members, but they're not going to press forward. But they got what they wanted. They got 2 kills, and they're gunning for the Baron.
And gun they will. Already 2 members down. They were not able to secure the dragon, but they got a huge team fight win from that. So yes, they were able to get the advantage of that. They lost the dragon. It's 2-2 right now, but this Baron is worth so much more.
Oh, the Lovers duo doing what they can, but Xayah is so damn low. 1911 has been deleted by Chim. And now there comes the Aatrox looking to turn the fight, turn the tides, but Rakan very low, has to flash away to safety. Reticlitz has taken one down, but the Baron has been slain. They have already grabbed it. Western now are just picking up the free kills. They will grab another 3 for their trouble, including the Baron, only losing the support. There is gold leads on all of these members right now. They are just so far ahead.
10,000, Baron, already with 2 dragons. Yes, it is 2-2 here, but at this point, they're looking to reset. As you see, all their members are back to base. Going ahead with the items. You see the second item being finished from Heimer, and as well as having the stopwatch there. Second item complete as well for Syndra, and Kha'Zix is really just doing anything he wants. He's building the Phage in the Kindle Gem. It looks like he's going for a Black Cleaver as a third item, and that's a real carry play here for someone that he can win against anyone.
This is not looking great right now for the side of UTM Esports. If you are a UTM Esports fan, well, you're going to have to show them and give them some of your energy, as it is just almost a matter of time. One more team fight could literally do it and be the decider, as we're going to start to see the siege commence here. Heimer in the mid lane, locking down these minions that are pouring in and just holding on towards this mid pressure. So difficult to deal with, and they have so many great engage tools. They have the Thresh, they have the Malphite to pounce at any time, and he also has his flash, but return play now looking to actually find Saber. This might be a pick. It is. The shutdown goes over to PETA, and now they're looking for Thresh. Blaze Nova in a heap of trouble, as we're going to see Aatrox go in towards the stopwatch here. Here comes the autos looking for a down. That's going to be this name, though, on a killing spree. We'll be able to grab one as we have a 2 for 3. Shutdown coming through yet again for the mid laner, but now it's Xayah on the run. What can she do? She's taken down and taken out. The double from this so goddamn tanky. Malphite will actually grab a triple. The ace comes through at 24.5 minutes, and now they can definitely break open the base.
I'm a betting man, and I bet this Malphite has over 300 armor. And even though UTM makes an excellent pick on the Kha'Zix that was 7 kills and only 1 death up until that point, they had a 4-on-5. But that's how far of a lead that Western has. That key Malphite ultimate going right into the back line and being able to completely destruct UTM, and that's all she wrote. It's being able to push through with double cannon minions, being able to push right through and be able to pick up that first inhibitor at 25 minutes. 12,000 gold. Really, that's exactly what UTM wanted. That's exactly. You couldn't have wanted any better.
Exactly. And I was just about to touch on it. 12,000 gold. Think about how many items that is in differential to what you have here. Let's take a look at the items. Well, 3 locked in right now for short hop. Look in the mid lane. Have 2 working on what looks to be a death cap here. So many huge power spikes that are just pouring on towards Summoner's Rift here in our game number 1 in this best of 3. And you can see it. They are under the gun. They are on a lot of pressure. It looks like now they might just wait for that next Baron to potentially come up. The next Dragon will be spawning in 55 seconds. And, well, you can certainly assume that Western Legends are just going to add another Dragon towards the mix.
At this point, with this much armor that Malphite has, really, the only AP on U of T is Orianna. And yes, she's 3-3. She's working towards a second item death cap, but she's not there yet. And it's just not even going to be enough. Really, this tank of a top laner being picked, yes, getting bullied early on, but with some good gank pressure, being able to turn it in top lane. And then now, look, he's a hard carry for his team despite going full tank. Excellent teamwork here from Western.
Excellent teamwork, and now they look to break open another inhibitor tower as they're down in the bot side at the moment, looking to see if they can find that undertow. And they're just trying to clear out waves, and you can just see it. Now it looks like they're probably just going to back up, settle for this drag, which I do believe will be their third of this game, as the second one, or third one rather, that they went for there was actually taken very quickly by UTM. It did cost them multiple lives there on their champions. However, they're going to try and set up for this, and there's going to be no contest whatsoever. That should be the third one now, 3-2. The next one will be the Soul Dragon that will be collected, if they even need it, if it even goes another 5 minutes.
And one thing I wanted to touch on there, Visions, is what do you think that there's going to be in the change in terms of picks and bans coming for next game? Like, look at who Western picked. Do you think that UTM is going to change any of their bans to go ahead and ban any of these champions here?
I mean, we might see a change for as far as what they expect in the jungle, because we just did not see Olaf get it done in the early game. He got out-jungled by Saber, who had a fantastic showing here on the Kazakhs, solo killing him in his jungle, finding the very first gank, the very first kill of the game in the mid lane there on Pita, one of the crucial components to their composition. And, you know, overall, I think that's where you got to look for as far as putting him on something maybe that's a little bit more tanky, you know, something that can help engage and enable his carries to pop off in these team fights.
Yep, I can totally see that. I could also see a Heimer ban for UTM.
Very true.
Just because there was really nothing that could have been done there, and that bot, they were continually pushed up.
Oh, Shockwave found both carries. Jim in a bit of trouble. No one there to follow it up. That could have been massive. However, that is a big cooldown. No longer available right now. And now we're going to see the Grand Entrance land on towards this name, though. But it does not look like they're going to be able to convert on it. They're still pressuring for this tower. They're just yet to break it open.
And really, this Malphite can just take these turret shots. You saw him take a turret shot, didn't even break his passive shield. Like, he doesn't even need minions at this point. He can be the minion. He looks like a big minion right now.
Yeah, he is a super minion times 2. This man is just a leveled up here. Talking about levels, level 17, 3 over his lane opponents here in this game number 1.
As a tank!
As a tank.
VisionZz as a tank!
Oh,
They're not dead anymore!
Oh, apparently not. He is showing us what can be done on even a full tank build, as he has so much armor like you touched on earlier. Now, why not add a Warmox to the mix?
Sure, I mean, you already got as much armor as you need. You add some hit points, you add some regen, and he's also fighting for the most CS in the game. He's keeping up there with everyone. Plus, he can't be killed, and he's got one of the best ultimates in the game. Like, really, there's nothing more that you could want for a player. And there he is. This name, though, is coming up huge with this Malphite pick, and I wondered if he's just going to run it back for the second game.
That could be very likely, as the second Baron of this game looks like it will likely fall. The jungler is not nearby. They are purely looking to concede this, as Zaya is down in the bot side right now. They just want to give this up. Olaf maybe could get towards the pit. It does not look like there's enough time. It will be secured. Saber will grab that, and now this is where it could be that final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I'm looking at this like the end of a chapter. Okay, so it was a great book. It was a great story. But you know what? We know we got some more parts in there. We have one, possibly a trilogy, which I'm really hoping for. And you know, the first book always gets you interested. They always get you to want to read more. And at least in the Hunger Games series, that really got me into it. And I want to see more of these teams go head to head, and I want to see a couple of different champion picks.
Yeah, we'll definitely get that in this game, but our next game, but we'll see what does happen in this one. Now, that's going to be the tower, brute forced and broken open. They have the base in shambles. It is falling to pieces. It looks like the inhibitor now soon will fall after. They just have to drop the turrets here from the Heimerdinger. And then who engages on Short Hop? How do they get on top of him? He has the Zanyas. He has so much time to buy, but there they go. That's the damage. 1811 is gone for the fight. The crucial engage tool Rakan is gone. That's going to be the ultimate, finding one. That's P-Dye falling down. They have found 3. They have found 4. Aatrox is the last one. Red Eclipse has been struggling to deal with this Malphite. He is going to struggle in the very end as well, as they find the ace at 30 minutes and 55 seconds. The Nexus will fall, and game number 1 goes to Western Legends.
GGs go out. Everything's been taken down. Pure ace at the end. And we're going to be getting into this next game very shortly.
Yeah, I don't even know if I want to look at these damaged damage charts right now. Because last game we got to take a little peek and we saw, well, Rise did a good majority of that. This game, well, they had a Sindri, they had a Heimer, even the Kha'Zix. I'm sure Saber's got to be up there here in this damage at the moment. And actually, he didn't do the majority of it, he just found the executes. But the Malphite certainly was, and that's a matchup we talked about. They're going in towards this draft. This should be Red Eclipse able to find advantages against this Malphite here. You know, it is going to be a bully matchup, but instead the ganks came through. He was able to keep himself alive despite losing the flash very early on in the 1v1, and well, he turned things around perfectly when he tried to TP bottom, and that's where everything went sour for him and went downhill.
Yeah, and the early kills in the jungle by Kha'Zix. Remember, he was 1-1 and killed a 1-on-1 Olaf in the jungle because he had the isolation damage. And then, well, you don't remember him being a 1-on-1 champion because he just kept stacking those kills. He kept sticking in the jungle. He kept prowling, and every time he found someone, he pounced. He pounced and he got them, and they never lived for very much long. It was like 2 seconds at best. And frankly, as a guy, I feel you should be able to last a little bit longer than 2 seconds.
Yeah, you would certainly hope so. Either way, game number 1 goes the way to Western Legends, but it's a best of 3, and this is for an opportunity for UTM to kind of look back on this and think, what can we do to change this? What do we want to do with our draft going in towards game number 2? Well, you touched on it in game. Maybe getting rid of that Malphite. Maybe getting your jungler on something that's a little bit more tank-oriented with Engage and not so much aggressive-oriented, because Saber seems to have a match and beat right now at the moment. But for now, guys, we are going to now throw it to a short little break so that we can set up the second game. Make sure you don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we're starting up game number 2 very quickly here, going in towards this one. It is going to be very exciting to see what exactly UTM do to respond to how that last game went. Well, we're starting to see what they're doing, and they do not want to deal with that Heimerdinger again because it was causing havoc over that last game.
Absolutely, and then after the 10,000 gold mark hit and the second Baron was taken, I was kind of already thinking about this next game, and we're already seeing it with the Heimer first ban. Put the smile on Vision's face here. Seeing what's coming to fruition here. We're going to see a different bot lane, maybe a more traditional AD carry. Maybe they'll throw us for a loop and throw a mage down there.
Yeah, very likely the case here. We talked about how they could have ended up going for that change there with the Sindri going in towards the bot side and flexing it anyway, but we'll have to see how things progress. Either way, a lot of assassins taken away here from the side of Western Legends. They do not want to deal with this Akali like they banned in that last game. In this game, they're going to take away the Aurelia, but we are going to get ourselves that Olaf coming through here, and that's also something that you now have to talk about. That's not going to be a pick going over towards a jungler who just played a fantastic game here. Saber looking to probably grab another aggressive jungler.
Yeah, and you have to look at the Kha'Zix here because he's already played it twice so far in this tournament. and he's looked excellent every time, and it's a really game-changing, hard carry champion, and you could see Saber do that once more, but with the Lee Sin pick, again, he's played that again in the tournament, so lots of Lee Sin, lots of Kazakhs, and if it's not failing, if it keeps working for you, why don't you keep picking it, right?
Why not? And I'm actually very excited to see Saber here on this Lee Sin, because this is the champion that you have to put a lot of time into to be able to be good. It's not just a champion that, oh yeah, Lee Sin's my pocket pick. It's like, no, you have to be practiced on this champion. You have to be able to whip it out and feel confident about going for those flash insect plays, going for those aggressive plays that Lee Sin tends to do in the flanks. But we are going to get ourselves a Rise, and you can probably bet that might be going over towards PETA, who performed so well earlier on in this group play.
Yep, I definitely think so. And going back to the first game, that was a Kiana jungle pick by UTM. So we're expecting that to be run back again, not going so well in the Olaf, deciding to ban that out and pick what won for them earlier. Kiana, I love seeing her play. It's such an entertaining champion to cast, and we're going to see her in the jungle.
We are going to see her probably going over towards that jungle, like you just said. The Vanguard picked up here, might be throwing a little bit of a mix in towards maybe the bot lane. We did just see another unorthodox bot lane picked up there. Heimerdinger making his way back in towards the meta, but still typically see the 80 carries. I think it's actually a pretty good matchup in towards the Lucian if it does go down there, but they are going to pair that Lucian here with that great Nautilus engage.
Yeah, I mean, bot lanes don't get much stronger than Lucian Nautilus. It really, the CC, the tank, the damage that follows up, Lucian really, with a couple of kills, can really take over that bot side and be able to secure the dragons for Lee Sin, which I'm sure he's going to want to prioritize, especially against the Kiana jungle.
Yeah, especially against that Kiana jungle. Like you said, now phase 2 bans. Let's see what they decide to pinch out. Last time we saw a lot of pinching towards the support role. We'll have to see if that's going to be the case. Morgana, we said how this champion's pretty much been pick banned this entire tournament. Well, still the same case here going into game 2 for our grand final. In response, will be a Vladimir bans away, so they are looking to pinch out some of these solo laners.
Now, I was thinking there was going to be a Thresh ban there, because Thresh being the standard counter pick to Nautilus, at least in the professional leagues, but going ahead and banning out the Xayah to make the 80 carry have to try something else in this bot lane. Maybe pick something that's not as high on the priority list, facing the Lucian Nautilus who want to pick up kills. Let's even make him a little bit awkward here.
VisionZz is actually going to be dropping down for us here, and this is the AP I said they're going to have to need. Rise probably maybe going towards the top side here, Veigar maybe towards the mid lane, and if it is that matchup, well, the Fizz does fantastic in towards that Veigar in the mid lane, especially when you land that ultimate, just so easy peasy to land your combo on someone who's so immobile.
I'm really looking forward to this next pick. They need some AD in this comp, or else all that Western will have to do is just build health and magic resist and be able to go forward on that. Building Hex Drinkers and that type of crazy stuff for Lucian. But I really like to see perhaps like a Sivir or a Kled. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back to my notes here. This was not played for UTM. So far today, and yeah, we have to assume that it's top lane, although we do see Kled being picked into the mid lane in the LPL in the Chinese region. He's one of the most picked or banned champions there, just not so much in the other regions, but I love seeing him. His ultimate is really huge for the mid game, where you can go ahead and turn those odd man fights into your advantage.
Yeah, and it looks like that should be the case for us here, as the last pick that's coming through is the Malphite, and why not pick the Malphite here again? It did so well in that last game. He was finding solo kills on the Aatrox there. The most memorable one is when he flash ulted to stop the teleport from coming through to make sure they couldn't drop down on Short Hop and his support, and it actually ended up snowballing him in his favor. He then received a gank, and he just stomped the lane from there on out. Now going up against a Kled a little bit less forgiving when he doesn't hit that bear trap on a rope. Able to go still toe-to-toe with you, doesn't have to land those skill shots that Aatrox has to with his Q, so might be able to try and recover from that last game in a little bit of a rough performance there from Red Eclipse.
And they're looking for a real map, a movement around, like a real global type of comp here is UTM. They've got a Rise, they've got a Kiana, and they got 3 teleports coming out. They're looking to make plays on opposite sides of the map. They're looking for any advantage that they can go and then jam 2 or 3 teleports into there or a Rise ult to get them in and then to get a team fight win because they've got the Malphite picked up once again in the top lane. And Red Eclipse is not liking the sight of that.
Yeah, and not only this, Rav, but look what they're doing. They're actually swapping roles here. 1911 is going in towards the jungle on the Kiana, and we're actually going to see Laverne go down towards the bot side here with 1811. This is a little bit interesting. This is saying, you know what, guys, it was a little bit rough in the jungle last game. We could see it. We could just see how Saber was able to just pick his number, go for what he wanted, and he was basically determining all the tempo in the very early stages. They're changing things up with a totally different player. We'll have to see if this can kind of be the wrench thrown into the mix that propels them in towards this game 2 to force that game number 3.
Yeah, anytime you're building a Spear Visage as your item after your jungle item, generally the game's not going great for you. You're generally just trying to survive and to be able to lifesteal up and to continue to be a factor in the fight. Yeah, it's very, very unusual seeing a team swap here in a type of tournament like this. Generally, they're very, very fixed roles. But something that we did point out was that one of the players is different than what came. One of the players that was announced, I believe it was like Yuna, and then there was another numbered player coming in. So there might be playing with 4 of their 5 original members is UTM, and this is just showing that this is not perhaps a cohesive team that they're used to playing with.
Right, very likely the case. And the one thing we got to talk about going in towards this game number 2 here, especially for UTM, is how they're going to be able to affect the early game. Last time we didn't see any aggressive plays really coming through from the Olaf here, and well, now we get that change with the jungler. But the question is what is 1911 going to exactly do to be able to have that presence that Saber's been having? Because guess what? He's now not on the Kha'Zix, because the Kha'Zix actually needs a few levels and needs to get that warrior before he's really super effective. But Lee Sin, he can look for those level 2 ganks, he can look for those level 3 ganks, and he can completely come in towards the lane and set things off early for some of these hard snowballing lanes. The Lucian Nautilus, the Fizz, he doesn't even have to worry about the top side, because, well, this name though already had a fantastic start towards the series here, and he's just the engage tool. So even if he falls behind, he's still going to be useless or still useful regardless.
They've got engage in droves here with Nautilus, Malphite, and a Lee Sin with a well-timed resonating strike. They have so many ways into this fight that really, if they choose the correct fights, they're going to be able to get in there. It's really up to them. They have the agency on when they're going to fight and where.
Certainly going to be able to dictate that here again. And I want to talk about the mid lane matchup here, because we said how it might have been the Vanguard, but now they switched that towards the bot side. They want to put Rise in the mid lane here up against this Fizz pick, which is, just arguably maybe just as bad, maybe not as bad, because you can land that Rune Prison, kite out there depending on what you go with. He is actually not going with the Conqueror, which we have seen a lot of professional play for as far as Rise, as long as actual professional players rather in solo queue, but he's actually going to go for the phase rush. He wants to be able to kite this Fizz out, wants to be able to abuse him early in the wave, but if this Fizz even gets a kill, we know how those games go. It just gets completely out of hand.
Yeah, and if they do put the Veigar top lane against Malphite, really, it's not a bad matchup for the Veigar. You're looking to safely farm in top lane, and going up against a hard tank that generally builds armor is pretty favorable as a Veigar. So we're going to have to see where these people go, and it is not what we were thinking. It is going to be Veigar in the bot lane. At least that's where he's walking towards.
Yeah, going down towards the bot side, switching with 1911 here, as it looks like he might be starting up towards the blue buff. Probably going to see Saber start on the red buff here. Sometimes can actually go leashless if you do start that safeguard there. Barely take any damage from that, but either way, going to be very, very exciting to see how things are going to be kicked off. And going into game 2 here, I gotta ask you, Rav, where do you want to see this jungler on the side of UTM trying to affect the map? Last game they had a slow start. This game they need to have a better start if they're going to go toe to toe with this team.
Yes, but like last game, we were saying for Kazakhs to focus the Aatrox, they did just that, and they carried through that top lane, through the Malphite. This is a completely different game here. You have some very difficult to gank lanes if you're UTM here. Look, you can go top to the Malphite, yes, okay. If you do that before level 6, before the Unstoppable Force, sure, you can get up a kill. You get the CC and the damage, that's fine. But you're gonna go mid lane against a Fizz? I hate going mid lane against a Fizz when I'm a jungler.
Yeah, this Playful Trickster is up. He is just out of there without any worry. But we are actually going to see the Kiana move down towards the bot side and actually start on the red buff. So both junglers starting diagonal, but that's going to be a little bit of a separation. The Vanguard's already in lane. This might be a force flash. He is actually going to hold on to it. Either way, this Alistar already chunked down to about 30% HP.
Yeah, and we saw this last game with the support taking big damage already in the bot lane, but they've switched it up. We now see a Veigar here in the bot lane. They're going to be looking to stack up to get a couple of items onto this Veigar. They're using the Alistar as a counter engage tool. It really depends. You have two ways to go with Alistar. It's either in, sometimes underneath the tower, or you're hitting people away from your AD carrier. This time an AP carry.
Absolutely, as we're going to see them actually maybe go for some early chip damage here. Blaze Novo certainly was looking for it, but did not want to get too greedy here. Coming off of a pretty hot game himself there, playing extremely well in these Hook Champions thus far in towards the tournament, and especially in towards that last game, playing very well with Short Hop, who have such great synergy together, and it is truly showing in this grand final as they kick things off here again. Kiana's already in the top side of the map, could look to punish down Malphite here if the wave doesn't shove in too hard, and we can already see Red Eclipse looking for some early trades.
Yeah, I'm really paying attention to this top lane very, very closely because the last game was so decided by it that already with Kled pushing in against the Malphite, Malphite can farm under turret, but it's a little bit difficult to pick up all that CS. His tools are very expensive in the mana bar, and he's probably going to want to get that cannon. There you go, it picks it up with that 60 gold. Very, very key in the early game to make sure to get those cannon minions.
And look at this, first dragon is going to be an Infernal. Surprise, surprise, means that we might get a little bit of scrapping very early on. Probably going to bring a bit of jungle presence down towards the bot side here. Essentially, whoever maybe gets that first gank off can actually secure themselves that dragon. Already seeing Saber move in, grabbing himself the bot crab here. Top crab picked up for 1911. Who is showing what he can do in the jungle, coming off of playing ADC. Not playing too bad, but just didn't have the right time in that last game to really enable what he's capable of doing. Now able to dictate a lot of it himself as that jungle role determines, what exactly you want to do in the early game here. And he has complete control of that. He's pathing towards the top side.
Yeah, and I really see this game as very, very clear about how it's going to go out. Whoa, we have it a gank already in top.
Oh, predicting the flash! Did you see that first blood coming through? But Saber's looking for a play of his own in the mid lane. Both junglers get things done, but the bot lane even deciding to fight for themselves here as it looks like they are just going to back away. But both solo lanes now have already been affected just 4.5 minutes in.
Yeah, and UTM just getting the slight better of that just because they were able to get this kill just a couple of seconds before. And you were asking questions. Does this Lee Sin have the games? Does he have the mechanics? I think like 4 minutes in, you already have your answer. He does, and he's about to make some big plays, and I can't wait to see more.
Saber coming hot off of that last game, looking to continue the dominance in towards this one. But we got to talk about the other play that happened. 1911 went towards the top side, found a prediction W from the water. They were able to lock his member down, but looks like actually Short Up is forced to flash away. He's caught in the cage, and we saw Alistair go for the engage there. So now the Lucian no longer having flash flow has access to that heal if things do get a little bit close. But that's a big summoner, removed from your star player here on the roster.
Absolutely. It buys a little bit of time in the bot lane. That's what you need. And again, this game is all about time. You have the UTM that want to scale in this comp. But we're having action in the top lane, going right into the minions. Is Red Eclipse, and they're going right into Malphite. He's just one more shot. He's able to get the kill solo despite all those minions.
But look at this. Peter's looking for the ultimate. Goodbye. That's a lot of damage. Shim's going to be able to grab that. But here comes the cavalry. They're looking to back everybody up here. That's Veigar getting rooted. Levine trying to get himself away. 1A11 in some trouble. Able to get himself out, but not enough, as it will be Jim actually grabbing now a second kill. The Fizz is snowballing. They do find a return kill, but at what cost, as it is just going to be the Malphite again, who still has great engage. It will not be useless.
I'm going to be very careful before I call Malphite gone in this game, okay? I'm not doing it now. Yes, he's a little bit of farm down 2 kills, but you know what? We saw excellent play last game. Very, very key ultimates and a very smart positioning by this named Fru. And already first Dragon coming over for Western. They're going to be able to get that objective through winning that team fight.
And Infernal Drag picked up out of all dragons here, and that kind of leads in towards my next point, which is right now with the preseason meta. If you do put a lot of attention on your top player and play around him, well, you at what cost? Because you end up losing these dragons here, and Red Eclipse is going to get knocked off of the mount, but should be a-okay. And you lose the Infernal Dragon for making the top play. Well, is that worth in the long run? The question is, well, is Red Eclipse going to be able to continue up this dominance? If so, if he can look for plates, if he can look to find a solo kill or two, then maybe it ends up being worth. But at the moment, you just gotta credit the side of Western Legends for that entire play and that whole macro play that we just saw happen here on Summoner's Rift.
I gotta think you do like it. Yeah, they made the play in top lane. Yes, Kiana made that excellent predict that we saw, but losing the team fight in mid lane and losing that dragon already at this early juncture, you don't like that advantage.
Definitely do not. Well, there's the bear trap on a rope. Might pull him back in. This might be a kill. He's going to have to use that unstoppable force just to get out of distance. Red Eclipse going to not have his flash to follow, but still putting the pressure now. And this is what we expected last game that's happening this game here on the Kled.
Man, there's ults being used left, right, and center in this game, and we see 2 of them used up top lane, with Kled doing the engage, and then Malphite going ahead and deciding to fight another day, using his ult to get away, and he has that advantage. He's got flash coming up in about a minute and a half. It's going to be very key for him if he can time this teleport with this flash and his ultimate and try to make a difference in this game at around the 9 or 10 minute mark, because right now top lane is not going so well.
It's not going so well, struggling at the moment. But Saber just needs to keep playing around the bot side. Keep playing around your mid lane here. And talking about the mid lane, 2-0 advantage, 10 CS up right now for Tim, who also had a pretty good game on the Syndra there that last game here too. So, looking to continue that over, definitely off to a great start. And what I'm expecting with this Fizz is to start looking for these 4-man ganks. Start using Saber and your mid laner, using the mid lane pressure and priority to move around the map here. Set up kills on this Veigar, who's extremely squishy, and his only way out of these situations typically is with a Zhonya's or a stopwatch, and he does not have access to that this early on in towards the game.
Only 1,000 gold. This is a very different game than our first game. This one is really, really down. We're going to see which teams are going to be able to get these multiplayer team fights coming on. Yes, we're still in laning phase right now, but that's not going to last very much longer. And I'm looking at these TPs, especially over on UTM's side, that they have 3 of them and a Rise ultimate that they're now going to be able to try to use to get advantages.
Yeah, they will do exactly that here. This is what I talked about. Fizz starting to use that fog of war here. Just as pressure, he doesn't even have to go down, but engage. Shorthop does not have his flash from earlier. Remember, he's left all alone, and this might actually cost him his life. Will he get away? The calling coming down. He is not done just yet. Finally, Lorraine's going to be able to go in and find that kill, but it will cost him his life. It looks like it's going to be Blaze Nova probably grabbing this. He will grab it in the end, so we'll just be a 1-for-1 trade.
Slowing down that Lucian was key. Already huge up in the CS. Look at that. It's under 10 minutes and he's already 33 up. You rarely see that at games at this high level. This is a complete dominance by this standard bot lane versus this now switched around mage bot lane looking to try to scale of UTM.
That's right, but we're certainly going to talk about Shorthop getting punished for walking up too far here. We've seen it now happen twice, and this time they convert on a kill. They didn't have to invest a lot in order to get it done. But at the end of the day, still trying to make sure that Shorthop just can't play freely, especially when his support goes to ward and lay down vision here. But still a massive lead, like you just said, almost double 10 minutes in towards the game. Also, while we were talking about that bot lane play, Rift Herald was picked up here from Saber, so he's going to be able to utilize that. Now, actually finding 19111, he's actually in so much trouble, looking to use the charge. They're returning fire, but can they get on top of anyone? Saber's going to be the target, has to use that kick, but he's locked down, now flashing away. Red Eclipse right on his tail, nowhere to go. That will be a kill, finishing him off with Bear Trap on a rope. That's a Malphite having to actually invest the ultimate over the wall, so they will just lose the jungler, but that was a play started from the side of Western Legends.
Malphite's not having a good time. This is 2 ultimates that we've seen used, both in defensive scenarios to avoid getting killed. You're really not happy as a top laner when you're using your ult just to get out, and having that Rift Herald come out in advantage of Western. you really going to be wondering about how this is going to be used. What tower is it going to be focused? There hasn't been that many plates being taken down. Really, the only plates have been in top lane where we see the Kled. Oh, we're having action.
Yes, we do. That's the dredge line landing. Calling will follow it up. The damage is there, and they will finish it off. UW will actually go for that. Like you said, 2 TPs coming down. A lot of damage, a lot of knockouts, but no one's falling just yet. Looks like a disengage wants to come through for Western, but that's going to be short off, having to flash away. Can he get himself away? Pita will follow and take him down. The 80 carry, the star player, has been taken out. Blaze Nova using the dredge line to close the gap. It will successfully get him away with his life here, but again, they will trade 1 for 1 in the bot side.
And Dragon is their prize. Not only self-satisfaction, not only that feel-good feeling, but being able to pick up real objectives on this map. And yes, you're leaving Malphite alone in the top lane, but he's not going to be able to do a whole lot. He doesn't even have a Balmy Cinder. He's not someone that can take down turrets very fast. You're going to lose very little from sending those teleports down bottom. And I love seeing that play from UTM, being able to send 2 teleports down at the same time to be able to turn that fight.
Sending 2 down, only end up finding the 80 carry, and now we're looking at Chim here in the mid lane. This might be their priority carry going in towards this game number 2. Looks like about a 1K gold lead, just a bit over, as we're 12.5 minutes in towards game number 2 in this best of 3 here, Grand Finals Collegiate Invitational. Brought to you by OESL. Now Rip Carroll in the mid lane will get a little bit of solo plates over towards the Fizz. They try to engage on, but he is just so difficult to lock down, and he will just playful trickster away.
I like to touch also on the point you're talking about short hop, and then yes, he's positioning very forward. And prior where he hasn't died yet, where he still had his flash, he could do that. But now he's been punished a couple of times, and you really like to see him shift a little bit more towards the back of the team fight. Let his Malphite, let his Nautilus stand in front. Hell, even the Lee Sin, who's going damage, put him in front. Just don't get knocked out immediately in the front of the team fight, or your team's going to have a good chance of losing that upcoming engagement.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. As we'll see what exactly Short Hop does. This is, kind of what we talk about. His support's clearing vision, and he's just standing up, waiting, to maybe get engaged on here if someone decides to pull the trigger. But no one will this time around. As we look at some of the members right now for the side of UTM eSports, and we'll 2-0 top, 1-0 in the jungle. Some of these members having a much better game compared towards that last game here. The plating still being contested. Red Eclipse is not even worrying about the Malphite anymore. It's like, listen, I'll just do some damage on the tower. You got to clear the minions. Don't worry about me. I'll just waltz on through. And, this is exactly what I was expecting from game number 1, but now we're seeing in game number 2. He looks much better on this clip.
I am flabbergasted at how different this top lane is in comparison to the first game. You have the exact reversal of roles, and it's been all the difference in this game. You now have a win condition in Kled at 2-0-1, looking to finish a first item. He's got a couple of components there with level 1 boots and a couple of Doran's blades, but it's more than enough to be able to fight anyone 1v1. But here we have a big action. Nautilus getting caught out just a little bit.
Pita in some trouble. They might be able to find the Nautilus, and they do. Blaze Nova will go down. Red Eclipse now looks like he might follow. That will be a 1-for-1. They find the shutdown, and well, guess who gets it? It's the mid laner who's 4-0. I think you happily take that trade. Support for a shutdown still in favor of Western Legends.
Yeah, and it's so close. 6-6 the kills. Yes, it's 1,500 gold lead in favor of Western Legends, but this is not like the first game. Really, we're still going to have to see another 10-15 minutes here before we see any sort of advantage take hold, and it could be around this Baron that's still not even close to being up. Very, very close fighting, and we're going to see the top lane being focused with Rift Herald being used with 3 members here on the top side.
Yeah, beautiful macro play comes through the top side to set up the wave. They use the Rift Herald, which I believe is actually going to be the second Rift Herald of this game that they do end up grabbing for themselves here. They get themselves the first tower. That first blood tower is so very important, as Saber is not going to mess around and clear out that pink board. He wants to get himself away to safety. Does not want to give a pick over here with that dragon coming up in 1 minute and 10 seconds, and you know know damn well both of these teams are going to be looking to set that up in the near future, maybe even backing to hit some of these power items right before the Dragon spawns.
And I got to give a compliment to the new jungler of the team, 191130 here on the Kiana, picking a slow scaling 80 jungler pick into a very, very quick pick of Lee Sin that it's able to affect the game very, very quickly. And look, she hasn't died yet. 1-0 and 3, and you already had a trading of objectives, and you got a close game. You have this hyper scaling team of UTM with Kiana, with Rise, with Vigar, and they're fairly even in this game. This is exactly where they want it to be. This is where we wanted to see this game end. This quick scaling game, this quick scaling team here over on Western, they are in a little bit of trouble here. They have this team that it needs to get kills early, needs to get advantages with Lee Sin and Lucian, but they don't have it.
They don't have it, and they're feeling it. However, Lucian does have a massive CS lead over his opponent at the moment here, who's struggling to even get a lot of this farm at 17 minutes in, but looks like the Mountain Dragon is going to be started up. Does not look like there's going to be a contest, maybe second guessing it as 1811 walks back in, but nonetheless, this should just be a Dragon take. And they said all 5 members realizing the importance of this and now going to be able to grab that. They might even look for an engage. The cage is going to zone them away, so they can't just enter in just yet, but that is a long cooldown. They could look to play around it and watch for this name though. This is going to be his time to shine if they decide to pull the trigger instead. Looks like they're just going to hover around the mid lane, take their free objective down towards the bot side here, and just go back to farming, setting up, waiting for these power spikes to come through.
And they're really going to like that Dragon, that Mountain at this juncture. You have a Malphite, you have a Lee Sin, you have a Nautilus on your team, all going to build some level of tank stats, and you're going to get an immediate 8% buff on both MR and AR there to be able to continue tanking on and make it yourself even harder to kill. So excellent Dragon there.
Oh, look at this. They're going to find him. Jump in the water. Is going to drop down. Saber is here to follow. There is a flash available, but it does not matter. The Dragon Rage is perfect, but they're making a play in the mid lane here. They don't get any summoners off of the Lucian, so Short Hop's just going to use that calling, zone them away, and as they get a kill, they also get themselves the second tower.
Bot lane being pressured very, very hard here with the jungler and the mid lane. Fizz now picking up kills left and right, almost like it's like Halloween and you like candy. It's just coming from all over the place. Here, I want to take a little bit of this. I want to take a little bit of this. Look at that, 6 out of 7 kill participation from this mid lane. That's where this game is revolving around over in Chim.
It is looking a little bit like we did see in that last game here, but that's a nice flash coming through there from Saber. A lot of respect, but he's not out of the water. Has to use that safeguard. Does get himself away from the ultimate there. Amazing display of talent now has been invested, so that is a long cooldown they could look to play around. They still have the Malphite engaged. They still have themselves the depth charge here, as well as the dredge line to look for a play of their own, but they are just not over-forcing. They're just playing around the side lanes. They're using their spectacular macro play at the moment to be able to find these advantages and again out-rotating them towards the mid lane. This might be another tower actually falling down as they are just going from tower to tower, grabbing advantage after advantage.
Yeah, but this game is still a long, long way from over. This mid tower is still up, almost at the 20-minute mark. Not for very much longer, but there's still a lot of turrets. There's still a lot of objectives left. And like we said, the scaling very much in the advantage of University of Toronto Mississauga campus.
Absolutely. As we'll see them go back in here. Jim looking to go on top of the top laner, but he's just going to have to invest the charge. Get himself out to safety. Listen, I do not want any part of this. Let me just use that ultimate and get out to safety. Well, he does just that. It's only 7-6 in kills, but the goal lead says that they are way farther ahead than what the scoreboard actually truly shows here, as they just have a massive CS lead, 70 CS at the moment. Down in that bot differential, your Short Hop is so far ahead of Labyrinth. This is just a massive difference here, and it's showing in the items. He's going to be able to hit this second power spike, and that's when Lucian actually truly shines and can start popping off.
Looks like the Essence Reaver there, and you're absolutely right. Lucian with 2 items is at his honeypot, and he's ready to, be the bear and attack the honey. In that sort of analogy, there he's going to go ahead and do the ultimate right onto the support, getting him down to 2/3, just wanting to get a little bit of damage so that he can head back and clear some more waves, continue to stack up 184 CS at just under 21 minutes. These guys are good.
There is a reason they made the run they did last year, ladies and gentlemen. Western Legends, they are here to make a statement, to make a point, and they're doing that. They only need one more game. Get themselves the grand final, and they might look to start things off right here. Dredgeline lands on 1-8-1-1. He gets taken down by Saber. Now, here comes the depth charges. They look to land a little bit of CC, but can't follow it up just yet. That's going to be the display of talent, finding a knockable to a few members, but PETA has taken down one more, making a 1-for-1 there. Both supports will fall, but nothing else will follow.
Yeah, I saw ultimates on both sides. Both, like you said, supports going down. Both teams looking to reset a little bit. There's a dragon coming up within the next minute. You already have the control ward there placed by the Western team, and now we're having Fizz coming right out. Wow, 2.5 items. Lichbane already complete. He's working on that Seekers. Ooh, he can burst.
He can burst. If he lands on the Rise, the Viger, any of these champions, they are gone. And while they're also the critical points of this composition to do any kind of DPS here, you can rely on the Gled a bit here, but has actually been punished over the last, I would say, 10 minutes of the game. Started the game off very, very hot. Actually, they might have had another pick of the support warding all alone. Ladies and gentlemen, take this as a lesson. Ward together, use your teammates. That's going to cost them. And this is actually going to now lead to another dragon going over to the side of Western Legends.
And they keep stacking mountain dragons. This is so perfect for when you're a Malphite in a top lane and you like building tank, and you start stacking mountain dragons. You can get to a point where you're getting over 1,000 armor, and I'm not even being facetious here. This actually can happen. We can see this in this game. This is a close game with stacking mountain dragons with tanks on Western's team, and this is really a dream scenario. They really lucked out in the dragon. I gotta hand it, the RNG is on their side.
Oh, look at this, the charge. It's actually forced out. Red Eclipse, feeling the pressure, has to call for his support to come and back him up to make sure he stays alive here. 5-0-3 for this Fizz. As much as he is far ahead, you have to make sure he doesn't give a kill over, but PETA, he might actually end up going down solo here to the 80 carry. Short hop will do it, shutting down PETA in the 1v1. The Rise known for 1v1ing, but Short hop says, I got something else to tell you. I am fantastic at my champion pool, and he finds now his second kill on the board.
And yes, with Rise being extremely strong in this recent meta, but like we were talking about before, Lucian has hit his power spike. He built that Essence Reaver. He has those magic resist boons that give tenacity as well, the Mercurial Treads, and you could see being able to 1v1 in that scenario. Lucian very strong at this point, but in the next 10 minutes, you're going to see that shift to where Rise is going to start to take over. He's going to start completing his second item. Once he gets that death cap, perhaps as a third item, you're going to see him two-shot people, and there's a few targets on Western that he can choose.
There is a few targets here, and I want to go back to the point that they just do such a great job of playing through the map. They don't have to take team fight after team fight. A lot of these fights, they've been 1-for-1, 1-for-2, but they've just been taking all of the outer turrets, and that's what truly makes a good team. Able to use the side lane pressure, able to play around waves correctly here, use that presence to get you objectives. Well, they have gotten the majority of the dragons. They have gotten the majority of the towers on the map, 4-1. Gold leads so much in their favor. It could just be a few more team fights, and that could be it. They could solidify themselves as champions here in this grand final right now, Rav, and I don't know what the side of UTM is going to do, but they got to pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Yeah, and really this next dragon could be lights out.
Look at that Dragon Rage. He tried to get himself away. He has no flash. This should be a kill, but he might get the remount. It is not going to be in time. Jim's going to add to another one, and he collects the 6th kill, adding another stack towards the Magi's.
Wow, going the Magi's as well. 14 stacks already. And he's going to be able to get a split push here on bottom lane. I'd like to say there's some turrets to take, but he's already taken them all. It's a clear going right to the base.
Oh, but they're looking for a play of their own. They're going to catch one in the cage here. There should be a kill going through. That will be Blaze Nova falling. PETA grabs that. They can't look for anything more. So a 1-for-1 across the map. This name looking for something, but again, they're the ones that get the tower. They're the ones that get the objective, so they still come out ahead.
Yeah, and objectives over kills, and that's what we're seeing, as well as farm over kills as well. And we're seeing that for Western, prioritizing these objectives, already getting these 3 dragons, a wind and 2 mountains. Well, we're having a big engage here. Fizz going in on the backside, already using Playful Trickster. Turk going down.
Yeah, but they have actually slain the Fizz. That is the crucial member that is part of the composition that makes it thrive. Now returning fire short up. He's looking to go in. He's going in for the play. He finds one. He finds two with the help of his top laner. But will he stay alive? It looks like he tries to kite it out, but Red Eclipse is there and finds the shutdown and takes him out. This Thame trying to get himself away, but will not be able to close the distance. Saber with the ward up, quickly followed by the flash from the support. And this is going to be a beautiful Sonic Wave able to grab one, but we do see UTM Esports fight back with a triple on the top laner.
We're back, baby, yeah! UTM with the 5-for-4, a team fight win, defending their base. They said that we're not over yet. This tournament is not yet over. We're here to play, we're here to stay, and we're here to get in your bay.
I love the fact that UTM Esports is still showing signs of life at the moment here, because it has just been such clean macro play from Western Legends. Every single fight has went in their favor because they're always the ones grabbing the objective. This time around, we see a fight that they overforce in the bot side. They do break open the base. They don't get the inhibitor, but more importantly, they do get more kills on towards Red Eclipse and give him a window back in towards the game. And this man can look to solo, short hop. One of the members that was kiting so well in the fight just was not able to do it enough here. Also actually opting for a Hurricane on the Lucian. Not something we typically see.
Whoa.
Don't know if it's troll. Maybe you know something I don't. There is, a few melees that are going to be running on top of him, so he's going to get a few extra autos off, I suppose.
I'm interested. Thank you for pointing that out. I hadn't even noticed until he just fought that. Thank you. This is so interesting. It does let him push that side wave a little bit faster and do a little bit more damage when team members are grouped up in the team fight, able to hit multiple at the same time. But this could be a fourth Dragon Zone, Dragon 4 Team Western. So many of these games have been decided by Baron. This time, it could be decided by Dragon. Let's see how this team fight unfolds.
That's right, but they're already getting the bot pressure here again, setting up the lanes before they go for the objective. Beautiful plays from Western Legends, but they need to convert on the smite. 1911 said, listen guys, I'm gonna jungle for game number 2 in this grand finals. Well, let him show us why he has taken this role. See if he can outsmite Saber, who's been playing on fire this entire series. Waiting for the engage, the waves again in favor of the side of Western Legends here. Now they're gonna walk up, waiting for that engage. The supports are in the front line, trying to tank this up. 2,000 HP, they're going to look for it. It's going to be a 50-50 smite. Who's going to get it? They're going in. It's going to be secured here by UTM. Well, they've already lost a few members. 1 for 1 in this fight as they press forward. Flashing out is going to be short off. And he's going to grab himself the Vanguard. Can he find the other carry? He does. He is doing exactly what you expect. The star player will grab a triple. The jungler will grab the other one. They don't get the Soul Dragon, but they get the ace at 28.5 minutes. And they're looking for the inhibitor in the bot side.
Vision, they're not even looking for the inhibitor. They're looking for the game. We just saw Kiana leave the game right here. They're not even going for the Baron. They didn't need the Dragon. They didn't need these key objectives at this late juncture. They just straight won that team fight so hard, and they're going to run it right down to the base. We're having your 2019 Collegiate League of Legends champions, Western University here. Wow.
Western Legends living up to Legends on the day. They looked clean, they looked crisp. And this is what you love to see from a team going in towards that grand final, going in towards this collegiate season rather, as they just look so damn hot. They look so consistent through the entire tournament, going flawless, not dropping a single game today, Rav. And that's just what you'll love to see from a team that has put so much hard work and dedication into making this team, putting it in towards the new season here. And I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, absolutely. And they were challenged. Just look at this last game. There was some solid competition here in this collegiate championship brought to you by OESL, the Ontario Esports League. And they came out ahead, like you said, not dropping a game, but they had to earn it, and earn it they did with excellent macro, being able to prioritize objectives and farm, not caring so much about the kills, but going for what matters and moving as a team. And despite losing top lane ever so hard, the Kled had an excellent advantage, but all for naught. They were able to win the rest of the map, and when you win 3/4 of the map, you win the game.
You win the game. There is some of the stat lines here, as you can see in the graphs, as they were able to just get things done. But now we got to talk about the MVP here, Rav. We talked about it a bit, during the break in between game number 1 and game number 2. But Now we got to talk about who stepped up. I think despite Short Hop having a little bit of some of those mishaps there in the early game where he got caught out, he popped off in the team fights. He is the star player for the reason here on this lineup.
You know what? I'd have to agree. His Heimer game was very, very strong, and yes, he was positioning aggressively because he was so confident in his abilities. And yes, he got caught a couple of times, but getting tons of damage down, only dying 3 times despite having a 15 kill participation out of 24. Excellent for an 80 carry, and he is our tournament MVP.
He is. Tournament MVP, Rav. It has been a pleasure here on the day. Again, Western Legends are going to secure and title themselves here the grand finals for the Collegiate Invitational for OESL. It has been one hell of a day. Thank you so much for joining me on the cast, Rav. I think we're going to have to throw it away because I think we got some Overwatch coming up here after this.
Absolutely. Very excited. We're going to be seeing the rest of that. And excellent tournament. Excellent job. Just love being here in Hamilton, and this Ontario Esports League. They bring it every time. They're professionals. They throw tournaments that happen, and they bring the best teams, and there we saw it.
They do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to the League of Legends Grand Finals here for OESL Invitational. But now it's time for some Overwatch Finals to see who's going to solidify themselves as the champions. So make sure you stay tuned for that. We're going to throw it to a short little break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.